What's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? It's your boy Ja in the building, Coach Ja. You know what it is. On the spot, on deck, man. We are getting ready to. I'm waiting for my man AJ to come on and jump in. We're about to get this thing started. Um, it's Thursday night. We got a new thing going on. The show's called 10 Times Now. I'm a few moments behind, but I'm sure that my brother AJ is going to be joining us any moment now. And we're gonna make this thing happen right quick. It is Thursday evening. It's about 7 p.m. and we here. We here for it all. You know, they say brawl for it all. We here for it all. We're gonna have some good conversation, and I'm waiting for my brother AJ to come on in a minute. I just sent him information. He should be locking on any second now. Just a few minutes late, a few minutes behind, but it's all good. We here. Hope y'all come on in and join in. We have plenty of things that we want to talk about. And let this be a good moment. Let this be a good moment. And y'all welcome to come on in and welcome to join in the conversation. Gemini, what's happening with you? Let me send out these kites to some folks that we want to come on up in the spot. Let me get to these comments coming in. Welcome, welcome. Karina Smiley, welcome. It is 10 times now, and the object of this show is everything that we speak about is 10 times as important than we think it is. And so we're inviting some folks to come on and have conversation with us. If you are in the feed on the live, please send it out to someone who may be interested in having a conversation with us. And yeah. What up, Stu? And so again, the show is actually set up for us to have those conversations that we've not been able to have, those strong conversations, those real conversations about some of the things that we've yet to talk about or we haven't talked about. So when AJ come on, we'll get on started. And thank y'all for coming in. It's not coffee time with Coach, so I don't have any coffee in the moment, but I probably will get some as soon as AJ comes. Like I said, I was a little behind. And my man AJ is in the building, always on time, always prompt. My brother, let me just bring him on in the spot so y'all can get ready. AJ.
What's up, man? What's up?
Listen, I've been running behind, man. I tried to get something to eat after coming back from the doctor, man. And you know, life is what it is.
Man, I had just fixed I had some chili cheese Fritos. We made some chili the other day. Had a lot of shredded cheese. I just made this big old bowl and took it there to my girl. Looked at the client. I'm like, I got to go. Because I had to walk my dog too, because it's almost like every time we get ready to go, it's like he wants some attention. Like, hey, we supposed to be doing something, right?
Yeah, man. So how's your day been, bro?
Man, excellent, man. I'm saying from this morning to now, it's been excellent, man. I've been so I think I've been so inspired from yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday set us off, bro. Yesterday really set us off. Yesterday really set us into place. Yeah,
I believe it was like a different kind of environment, because we used to going live with other people and having in-depth conversations, but never a conversation where you have so many people that have, I guess, valuable input to whatever the conversation is.
Yeah, and I think it was also the magnitude of the conversation. And it was so powerful. I mean, when you get kings on the line, and we can be kings, we can be just that. And I don't have to, we don't got to worry about whose sword is bigger than the other ones. You know, whose sword killed more people. We didn't have to worry about one of those things. You know, I think that's what made it even that much more powerful, because we were able to say, you know what, this is where we at in this position. I might not agree 100% on that, but we at least can agree that we got to work out.
Oh yeah. No, and not just that we are the group to sit down and work it out together.
That's it.
That was the most challenging thing to me, is because it was amazing how everybody said, okay, this is the problem I see, this is the problem I see. I'm like, okay, so those two problems kind of go alongside each other. So, and that's why I was saying that, you know, if we actually made just pamphlets,
right?
Each person made a pamphlet, which is not a book, not a whole lot of information. It's just my opinion on this particular matter. If we just made it for ourselves, so we can put it together and see what all our opinions look like instead of, because I think every time somebody says something, I think of something like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, but what if we put this on?
Mm-hmm.
But when you write it down, it's already concrete. That's the notion all in one place, and you say, okay, we can add to it, but we add to it more in conversation than we think.
Absolutely, way more than we thought, way more than we thought possible. And it was so heavy. I was so proud to be. It was an honor for Mike to call me into the group, and I was so proud to be there with some very, very, very distinguished and strong Black men. And man, just to be brothers and talk about real stuff for a change and not fooling around, and and we're gonna have our fun. That's gonna be part of it. But we were able to say and really make some sense to some folks. So if you're tuning in on IG, like I said, this is 10 times now. I got my brother AJ Houston on the line. Follow him on IG. Instagram is up live too. We're gonna be taking questions, hopefully answering questions and asking some questions, and hoping we get plenty of feedback from you all. We want to talk about the real stuff. We want to talk about life. Let's talk about those kind of things. We don't want to fool around. We can fool around and have fun too, but let's just talk about some reals. Let's just get real. Let's just get one-on-one, up close and personal, talk about some things. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
And I'm glad you said earlier in the conversation this morning, you say the reason we say us or we are the things we need to do is because a lot of things that apply to us apply to other people too, but we really have to. It's like, I can't tell your son that he need to take a shower if my son ain't taking it.
Exactly. It don't work like that. It just don't work.
Oh, Noble say y'all need someone to jot down minutes.
Always, Noble. Always. We always need that.
But that's why I'm trying to find my folder right now. I got a folder for this.
We always need that. That ain't even a question.
Yeah. Now I got a folder for this. It's just like a jar folder, a jar 10 times now folder.
Man, I'm reaching out to some folks because I'm hoping to. I didn't hear back from some folks that I wanted to talk to today, and I'm hoping that they are able and they are available for some things. And man, AJ, I'm gonna tell you, listen, I was going through, because I'm working on some stuff from a documentary and things like that, and I was going through some old pictures and old footage and video. Man, I got video from Wits from about 5 years ago, and In So Many Words 5 years ago. I got Johnny C. Weaver. You know Johnny C.
Yeah.
I got Johnny C. Weaver, Bittersweet, Bugsy Calhoun. I got Bittersweet. I got a bunch of people who I have their information. I got video on them. I'm going to unleash all this shit. Y'all going to get all of it.
No, but you know what I wanted to tell you that you didn't know? What? And I just found out the other day. What's up? I'm on 10 times now with Ja, and we're on Ja's StreamYard. So you can go to his YouTube, which is Coach Ja Smiles YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. Coach Ja Smiles YouTube, Coach Ja Smiles Instagram, and we're just trying to get this done. So we have this conversation every day. If you got any questions, post the questions here. Yeah. But what I was going to tell you is that you was talking about when you used to model. When I first got in the Army, I was modeling.
Oh wow!
In Dallas.
Wow!
And I'm saying, and it was wild because I had this long shag in the back. I had a shag, little thing in the shag. And a friend of mine, she was gonna send me some pictures, and I'm like, I need to get those pictures now because I really need to see what I look like, because I know what I think. I know what I think I look like. But a lot of times, what we think we look like ain't what we actually look like. Because I heard you talking about, when y'all modeling the things y'all used to do, and I'm like, yeah, you don't know how similar these things are.
Yeah.
That we've been through, and maybe that's why it's so easy to connect right now.
Absolutely.
Mr. Parker, what up? What up? Euphoric Parson. I got Euphoric Parson on here. I got some dope names. Euphoric Parson and Thoughts to Verses, and I got Miss Parker on my Instagram and some other people, man. But it's a show. Interesting how I like what Miss Parker's doing with the women. She having the wild card conversation with women. Same thing Mike had with the men yesterday.
Yeah.
And I believe that we're strengthening our bond as a community.
Absolutely.
Through these different little lives that we had in different conversations, but we got to figure out how do we get them all together, or how do we even if we just printed up enough information so we could pass it to each other, we can all sit down, have the same information in our hands, and build from that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just need that one. Kiana, good. What's good? What's good? What's good? We need that one level of foundation to stand on that we can come to agreement with. And what I always try to say is, okay, we know we're not going to agree on everything, right? So the shit we don't agree about, we ain't got to discuss.
Oh, definitely.
If we don't bring that shit up, we okay, right?
but still, a lot of times I think it's not that we don't agree. It's like, I think my opinion on the same matter is stronger than yours. It's like, no, but we're on the same matter.
Same matter.
So why should it matter whose opinion? I hear you screaming. Yeah, we're working on the school. We're trying to get it right, Chef Honey. No, but if we agree on any particulars in that, let's write down the agreed section and say that we need to subside our ego in these other portions, because it's not a matter of grave importance.
Right. So did you ever work on the other streaming thing you got?
Yeah, I was working on that today, man. The one thing I found out is the only way you can stream on YouTube is that you have 1,000 followers, and I hadn't really been building my YouTube up. I've had it for years, but you need 1,000 followers to go live on YouTube, huh?
I don't have 1,000 followers.
You know, but that's the message I kept getting. Is when I tried to connect YouTube, it says, okay, you're not allowed to live stream on your YouTube, and I don't know why. That makes no sense, because I tried 2 of my YouTube channels and they both said the same thing.
Wow.
And one I've had forever. I think I only have 85 subscribers, but I hadn't pushed it. It's just like my what's up, Jordan Michael? Just like my blog. I have a blog that I've been writing for years. And there's blogs on it. There's little things on it, but I've never really pushed it as far as, because I think I wasn't really interested in, okay, let me build this up and make these followers and do this. And my intent was to try and learn to write better.
Yeah. I used to, when I was in college, I started blogging and writing articles, and I used to get paid to submit those to YouTube. Had a thing, and I used to get paid to do that. And I used to do that in college. I had no desire initially to do that, and then when I found out I could make money for writing some shit, hell, I changed my whole damn. I was going to school to be for journalism until they had me writing about. It wasn't. I can write about Greek mythology and stuff like that, but they want you to write papers about shit you don't. I'm not trying to get all wrapped up in Congress. I don't want to learn that language. And they was wanting you to do all that stuff and research this. I got my ass right out of there. I got right out of that damn program quick. John, so it's different rules. Yes, it's different rules with this network, Mike. This one, they don't have Instagram yet. That's what they would need to have. Because right now I'm streaming through YouTube, my Respect to My Slam page, and through my Josh Smalls page on Facebook. And then I got my Instagram up here.
But Scooby just told me that if I gone verified by my phone number and email address and everything on YouTube, I should be able to live stream. But on this one, on Restream, you can live stream through Instagram, but you have to have it gives you a number that you put in. So I put all that information in.
Okay.
And it looked like it was going to. I just read a poem on there just to see if it worked. But then I wanted to fix my girl something to eat. I said, baby, I got to talk to Ja today. So this my exciting day right here. I can't be tardy, man. Because I look forward to whatever conversation we have, because it's almost like it's pertinent to my existence.
Say that. That says a lot about the content, and what we share. And that's why all you that's following and watching now, those questions that you haven't asked, haven't had a platform to ask, that's what this is for. We want to have those open questions. It's not a one subject show here. It's all about what you guys want to talk about. Let's talk about all of that stuff, the hard stuff, the easy stuff, the funny stuff, all of it. And all of it. It doesn't have to be about writing, but it sure can be about writing. We don't mind that either. But let's just use this platform for that.
Yeah. And Corey and Majoy, the poet, what's up? I'm saying, like Ja was saying, we could talk about writing, we can talk about whatever, we can talk about politics, talk about this voting thing, talk about the problems in Georgia, because one other thing I found out in Georgia, it says that over 750,000 mail-in ballots were sent back. And I'm saying, see, we don't really hear the numbers, but when you're talking about one state and the numbers, it makes a difference. Because 1 million registered minority voters in Georgia didn't vote. 750 ballots were sent back. They didn't say from which area or from who. So let's say that's the spectrum. That's still a whole lot of people.
That's too many damn people.
So, and now they're doing early voting. So it's pertinent that if you know somebody in Georgia, you say, look, I don't know if you plan on voting, but get out to vote, you and your family, because a lot of people don't think voting matters. But if it didn't matter, why would they always try and block you from the ballot or make you have a special ID or change the rules or lie to you what day you're voting and all the things that they've done or take a poll, a poll tax or take a 30-question test that a lot of people in college couldn't pass.
It can pass. And my thing is, it's just like you tell me, I say, man, I got to go to the store. Let me drive that car. And you say that car don't work, but you ain't never put the key in the ignition. If you ain't never turned the car on, you don't know if it worked. It might be a damn spaceship. You might fly in the damn car, but you ain't never used it to turn on. So you cannot say the votes don't count. And we hadn't used them yet.
Yeah, Tony Daines, Beach City. And the other thing I was telling people is, I hear all these professionals telling people, look, go through your phone and whoever hadn't hit you up or whoever's whatever, and all the negative people, delete the negative people, get them out of your life. You don't need the negative people in your life. And I'm like, I don't know if there's a battery that starts a car that has a positive cable. Or that starts an airplane or a spaceship that has a positive battery, or any of these little electric cars, positive and positive. But I don't know of two positive things that would start anything or that can keep anything moving.
Right.
So if you got to stay balanced, you need the negative people, because you got to have that positive and negative in everything that's also in your life. Because we need to know that the negative people might be jealous. Might have some shit you need to know. Might have some things you need to find out. So you need to listen to what everybody say, because a lot of times what she said, what he said, and what they said could be the last part of this poem I was trying to write.
Yeah, yeah. The thing about it is, we got to remember, it makes sense to somebody. I don't give a damn who they said or what was said. It makes sense to somebody.
Yeah.
So canceling it out, but actually cancels out. Oh, you don't know how many damn people, because somebody gonna believe that shit if somebody say it. Somebody gonna believe that shit.
And I'm saying, like Beach City was saying the other day, we really have to discover not just who we are, but in the process of what purpose do we really have? How do I really discover my purpose? Or in the process of this, am I guiding myself to my purpose? Or is this my purpose I'm working on right now? But whatever it is you're doing, you got to put your all into it to make sure that I'm doing the best I can with this. So whatever's next, I'm ready for it.
I'm ready for it. You know what's so heavy about that statement? I was just having this conversation without saying that. And I'm saying that basically, I've been involved with poetry full time for 7 years, right? Because I was disabled out 8 years, 8.5 years before that. And so when I decided to get involved with poetry and having events and all these things, I had no idea I'd be in schools and teaching people and coaching people and write. I knew I was going to have a book. I just didn't know when. I didn't know what the book was going to be about. I know none of that shit, right? And the thing is, you don't even realize how you putting your future together with everything you do right now.
But that's what I'm saying. Walking a path means that you're moving. See, you can't get to anywhere unless you're moving.
Unless you're moving.
No sounds come out of your mouth unless your lips are moving. Your hand, you can't write unless your hand is moving. So that should tell us that in order to get from here to there, it's going to take us to move.
It takes movement. And then you look at what is physics. Physics states that your head has to move before your body moves. You cannot walk, crawl, run, sit down, nothing unless your head moves first. Ain't that something? Even if you confined to a wheelchair, your mind have to tell your body to lean forward and pull the wheels.
Oh yeah. Rango, beautifully bold. What up? The Moon Storybook. Man, I'm talking to Coach Ja on 10 times now. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, trying to get this conversation going. If you got some questions that you want Coach Ja to answer, throw them in here. Yeah. Nopal, you can actually do your. I know you're so good at taking down minutes, so you can write them down, and we will actually talk to you about equitable compensation at a later date once we decide what compensation is. We're gonna work on it. We're gonna get it right.
We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. But yeah, man, I am still on fire from last night. And I didn't know what to expect, but I knew whatever it was, I wasn't gonna be ready for the shit anyway, but just be present. I might not be ready, but I knew to be present.
Yeah. Hey man, let me. I don't have that photo. That photo's in the other room. I wrote down the title of that poem that you read last. What was the title of that poem you read last night? The new one.
What's the title of that poem? I wrote a poem. I'll find it.
Yeah.
I know I got it up there. Man, I read some poems from my daughter on Emmanuel Lewis's page last night. Man, it was whew. That poem is I wrote a poem last night. That's the title of it.
Okay, yeah.
I wrote a poem last night. Yeah.
Man, I was working on I woke up this morning, the title in my head was Blacks Anonymous. Like we're gonna talk like Alcoholic Anonymous, we're gonna talk about Blacks Anonymous. So I had the opening lines to that piece in my head. So I ran down, I got on your show, which I hadn't expected to. Then when I got up and went and took a shower, I had to call my girl and I said, yo, baby, come here, I need you to write these words down. But the words that came out wasn't for the Blacks Anonymous poem. I thought it was. But once I started writing it, it was like, no, this ain't, unless it takes a turn from where I don't know it's going. But man, I just love the idea. But the title of the poem is Sunshine and Pain. You know, because we always talk about sunshine and rain, but pain. But it's talking about we've been in America, all these sunrises. You know, more than 100,000 sunrises, and every day is still dark.
Wow. and every moment of the day is dark someplace else.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying there's a storm over somebody's house this week that's not breathing and should be.
Nopo said she has to drive momentarily, otherwise she would love to. And then she said, I wrote a poem last night and sunshine and rain. That's what she said. Yeah, doing that poem, that poem I had written some time ago, and it's like every time I revisit that poem, I want to edit some of it. I'm like, hold up, let me put this shit in. I need some oregano on it. Now just slice some grated cheese on here. Okay, now you need to put some pickle juice on top of it. Like every time I read it, I'm like, yeah, something else in there. Should artists stop using the N-word in music? Mike said, should artists stop using the N-word in music? That's his question.
Should artists stop using it? I think they should stop using it when we stop being it.
I believe it still. I believe it still has relevance because that's what we still continue to be.
Well, let me tell you, Mike. Okay, Mike. I believe we'll stop using it when we vote 100%. When we actually treat this nation like it's home. When we treat our communities like a neighborhood. So there's like a 5 or 6 steps that I'm saying, because see, we will march and rally around a policeman killing a black man, want to defund the police. But when somebody kill us in our community, ain't no money in the community anyway, so we ain't talking about defunding the community.
Right.
We ain't rattling around, we ain't marching, you know, a couple of people might have a shirt on, but we're not doing anything about what we're doing, but we're mad at everybody else for doing it. How does a poet evolve and grow while feeling like all his writing is similar? Well, write yourself out of the similar. I'm saying if you continue writing, you will start seeing the difference in what you've written. And it's only similar because there are some things that you're missing in what you're trying to write, and it keeps telling you to get it right.
Yeah.
See, a lot of times we're going to write until we get it right. And it might be a poem like Sunshine and Rain, might be Sunshine and Pain, might be Sunshine and Maine, might be all these different sunshines until I get that right. Yeah. But a lot of times there's something in us that knows when we've said what it is we want to say, when we painted the picture we want to paint. But a lot of times we keep revisiting it because it's like, I didn't frame that portrait right. I didn't make that picture clear. Yeah. So we're going to keep writing it, but keep writing. Don't worry about it sounding similar. Even if it sounds similar, there's differences in it because a different you wrote it because you were different each time you wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah. My use of the N-word troubles me when it's glamorized and we romanticize the idea that it's okay. And until that becomes spoiled milk in our mouths, we're going to keep, because it's got to be candy. You know it's going to rot your damn teeth out, but you don't stop it because it just tastes good. It's addictive, and using the N-word, hell, I've used it and I'm probably still using it because some people, that's who the hell they are. But we got to stop staying married and engaged to the idea that, all I'm going to be is a nigga. I'm a nigga. That's all I am. I ain't shit. I'm a nigga just like you are. No, you ain't no nigga like me. That's for damn sure. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's part of the issue. We romanticize the word nigga, and I got to put it on Tupac because he was one of the.
I read it.
And the fact that he made it seem like, oh wow, it's cool to be called a nigga. Hell, that don't make it right. When we was out when we was doing stick up kids, we was out robbing people. It was cool, but it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So that's part of the issue, man. We got to drop that shit. We have to get away from.
But to me, I use nigger like bitch because you don't ever hear bitch in my poem.
Right.
I use nigger like bitch, or like a lot of people use curse words for impact in their poems. Might be the beginning line and then repeat a fuck you at the end of the line, and now I said something. Amen. No, you didn't. So I use nigger that way because I'm saying if I use it, it's expressing that I'm not really satisfied with what's going on this particular juncture. I say this is an impact word for me because I want you to know that just like the unwritten book of the book of niggers in the black book of black, because if there was a black Bible, it would be in charter and verse instead of chapter and verse. So that book says charter. If you look it up, there was over 35,000 chartered round trips from Africa to all these countries, and people keep saying only 300,000 slaves were in America, but every ship that left, the average was, they say, between 110 and 160 estimated. So that means on every ship, 50 people could or could not have been on it.
Right.
So 35,000 times that almost 50 people are missing from the numbers that you've counted. We don't have a record because records were purposely not kept.
Right.
So you can't tell me that the number is less when I know it's more than whatever it is you tell me. So until we actually, and I keep writing about history because we don't know the full extent of what any part of history that we talk about. We talk about the syphilis, syphilis experiments. And I went and read everything on that because it bothered me that I knew about it, but I didn't know the whole story.
Don't know the whole damn story.
So what happened, I read about it, it was supposed to be a 6-month experiment that lasted 40 years.
Yeah.
I had to stop there because I'm trying to figure out how does the experiment for 6 months last 40 years? Then I understood that the CDC came and checked it out. Some blacks that was going to school to be a doctor came and checked it out. So all these people checked this thing out so that it continued to go for 40 years. And nobody knew that. They didn't tell the people that experiment started in 1932. In 1947, penicillin was found to be able to cure the disease they had injected in them. But they weren't told. They weren't offered it. So from 32 to 72, I think 72 is when 92 is when President Clinton invited all the families to the White House and gave an apology. So you run an experiment 40 years, it takes another 20 years just to get an apology from America for some things they know they did. And looking at that, what the Senate apologized for slavery in what, 2014?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the House did it first. House might have done it in 2014, then the Senate came back. But okay, so from 1619 to 2014, that's a couple of days. That's a couple of days. A couple of days. You might forget to apologize for some shit you done. In that amount of time. What's up, baby? Hakeem, what up?
Just thinking about an apology. Hell, you should have known what your apology was going to be like when Lincoln said, I will keep the Union. I will keep slaves if I could keep the Union. You should know then what your apology was going to be.
No, but one of the sentence that got me, it says, okay, I'm going to free your slaves.
That part.
I'm not. I got over 600 slaves myself, but I'm gonna free your slaves.
Free your slaves. You know what's another funny thing? It's not funny, but I thought about this. Right? We didn't come here. We came here with last names, but they gave us whatever last names we needed to have. Right? Whatever fit, whatever our owner was. Right? You look at every time you see somebody named Washington, they black as you and me. Where the hell they get that name from?
No, Jill just say an apology and dinner.
Yeah.
We're gonna feed y'all and apologize and send y'all on y'all way.
Get you some chicken, nigga, and come through the back door. Well, we be nice today. You can come through the front door today.
Now, but that name thing is interesting, because that was one thing that I had a problem in the Black Book of Black. I started trying to read and see if any of the legends that came up on ships actually had real names of people. But it didn't. It had boy, girl, girl 13, boy, how tall are you? Okay, boy, let's say 11 and a half, okay, man 32. They didn't have age because they didn't speak the language. They didn't know what age, they didn't write the region, they didn't write anything, man missing front tooth, 23.
Yeah.
So we didn't come with names. So when you got off the ship, they separated everybody so they wouldn't have people going to plantations that spoke the same language. So everybody went there and had to learn whatever language they were told was a language. It didn't have to be a real language. They were just told it was a language, yeah.
Because you damn sure wasn't gonna read it nowhere. You know what? One thing that bothered me. I always like to watch Roots as a reminder, right? But the newest version of Roots that was on, I think it was on Hulu. It was on Hulu. The newer version I liked. And I liked it more because, number one, they paid attention to what happened before they got here and kept that connection. Mm-hmm. With the first version of Roots, the connection was only through Kunta, when he remembered and told stories. But with this one, it started there. And I thought that was important because it showed the going through the rites of passage for young men and women and all of that. But what bothered me so much was when they took Kizzy, who was Kunta Kinte's daughter, and they sold her off because she learned how to read. Remember that?
Yeah.
And when they sold her off, the owner had her chained to whatever he was post in that thing. She was in that barn house, and he came to the barn house to rape her. And while he's raping her, he said, "That's my right." He said, "This is my right." Two things that registered me: just the sickening of the mind that said that that's okay, and then his wife is standing right outside and then busting him upside his goddamn head. So she was just as insane as he was. But it's the mentality that that's okay. And because you paid for this human being, you have a right to their body, their person.
But it hadn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
If 17 attorney generals from a state join a suit from a state, they close down all the mail-in boxes so they have one per county, and they sue 4 other states because they didn't like the way the minorities voted in that state. They want to cancel out 20 million votes. So that means every attorney general, those 17, say that our coloreds are doing good. We got them where we want them.
Where we want them.
They can't say nothing about me doing this and won't do nothing about me doing this. And that's what that means. So to me, it's like, okay, so you can't say nothing and you won't do nothing. So does that mean that you're satisfied with them doing this?
With them doing this.
So how are we going to, what repercussions should occur? And see, Betty say, empty apologies. What about restitutions and reparations?
I'm starting the poem. Let me say this. I'm starting the poem, right? I'm not going to read it, but I just want to say, the poem says, money can't fix you. What I'm saying is, if they give us money right now, which they should do if they real smart, give us the damn money. We ain't going to do nothing but get the shit right back anyway.
Yeah, we're going to go buy some Lambos and some convertible ladies.
You see what I'm saying? Because we are so sickened in the mind that we think it's okay. Again, we got to remember where that came from. You ever see people, they get paid and they check going the same damn night. They come on, baby, here, you better pay the rent now because it's Friday. You're not going to have no money in the morning. But it's a mentality that happened from slavery, post-slavery. Because remember now, when they let us work, they used to come in the house and take our damn money.
Yeah.
We just buy all kind of shit, so we ain't got no money laying around. We won't get our ass kicked when they come in here, but they ain't gonna be able to take our shit because they already got it. It's still the same mentality. We working on the same mentality right now.
Well, you know, I wrote a poem for. There was a committee that was suing the United States for reparations. Committee. They were in Dallas at the time, and they said, "Hey, write us a poem about reparations." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I wrote a poem about reparations. Went to the studio, had my partner lay some music down, made a hot track, played it for them. They was like, "Oh man, we love this. We love this. Thank you." I'm like, "I don't do this for free." And it was like, "Oh, well, like they hadn't planned on paying for it in the first place." And I didn't know. If I had known that, I wouldn't have wrote it. but I told them I will put this on a CD. Sell a CD before I get it to you for free. We're not doing that. And the overall concept was saying it was the name of it was Repair a Nation, because reparations should be broken down into Repair a Nation.
Yeah,
that's what it's saying. It says to see the trillion dollars made from the inventions of the slaves, and you think it's unbecoming to pay us for what we gave. You know, because when you look at all those inventions and you say, okay, so it's not, there's no black patents. There ain't no patents for Sears and Roebuck stole the, refrigerators,
right,
wash, dry, all these things. Sears and Roebuck got the name on it. Other people got the name, but they're black inventions that are not named after black people. So since we know the truth on all these inventions, how do they go back and get the money that was made from those inventions from the people that stole those patents? See, we're finding truth, but we have no recourse for the truth that we're finding. We know the truth about Thanksgiving, but we still said Happy Thanksgiving, like, the Indians were happy, like they actually sat down and ate turkey with the Pilgrims or whatever, and we know that's not the case. But we know all these truths, but we don't have any repercussions or anything that we do to say that, hold up, I know the truth now, so I cannot continue to perpetuate what it is you're telling me.
Right.
Something has changed between me knowing truth and me applying the truth to what I know.
How do you make that change, right?
That's my question.
Yeah. One of the things that always blew my mind too was all the diamonds, all the minerals is in Africa, number one, but all the diamonds in Africa. And all the Jews own the diamond cutting machines. Now, what kind of damn crazy hell sense does that make? How the hell they get them? Because you ain't invent shit. In fact, when you take that ISH off the back of Jewish, you don't have no existence in this thing, bro.
Oh yeah.
Which is a whole nother story. It's a whole nother story.
but I think the overall thing is the conversation we had yesterday is like, we can sit down and agree on a couple of things, but we say, what's that? September Virgo say absolutely assimilating and accommodating.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think our thing is, see, when we have conversations, we all understand that this is the direction it's going, and I know where I would go if I were here. But a lot of people didn't start their thoughts at that particular juncture. They started their thought back here. But after you said something, they said, "Oh yeah," and so that's what I'm saying. Let's make some pamphlets on how do we make a better tomorrow? How do we build this better tomorrow? Where do we start?
Yeah.
So everybody write their starting point. Everybody say, okay, this is where I start. This is where I start. Let's look at all the pamphlets, see where starting should be.
Yeah.
You know, say, okay, what's the second step? Second step would be this. Let's look at how many agree on the second step. That would be the second step.
Yeah.
So there's some ways that we can do it to find how we are all, our thoughts are synchronized on how we understand what it is we need to do and how we can get it done.
Yeah. Because
oh man, this lady just told me the post office damaged her package. She just got a book, so let me see.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. And I got it. I'm trying to get it. Lulu, my first 2 books was through Lulu, and Lulu having some issues. They can't even
ship.
Hell, I can't even log into my damn account right now.
Wow.
Now, I bet you could go buy a book from the outside, damn it, but they won't let me log into my damn account. Oh man.
Oh man, she said she only got 1 of the 3 books. So
yeah, I'm trying to get some folks that I was expecting to see on here. But there's so much to let's answer Mike's question, because he asked a question. He said the question, if both of us were not doing creative writing workshops, what would we be interested in doing? I think that's a very good question, Mike. And for me, I don't know that I have an answer for that. I know I would be writing still, but I'm the type of man that when something says go and it's in the same harmony with my heartbeat, I go. And of course that's why I've gotten into some shit that wasn't good for me. But it's the mindset and the place where the spirit is at. And for me, when the spirit is in line with what the mind is saying, then that for me is a good thing. And it will be somewhere within writing, but I don't know that I even have an answer to that, because this is all that's there for me right now.
Man, I think what I would do is my family, we used to sing. My family was singing, so we used to sing. But I've always, I thought about what else I would do. And I don't think there's anything else I could do besides what I do, because every aspect, when I was in the Army, I was a helicopter crew chief. So I did that, and then I was, I did some other things. I did this, but every time I wound up writing, every time I was writing. So no matter where it's almost like Groundhog Day. Imagine Groundhog Day and my pen. So me writing is Groundhog Day. So every time I try and go somewhere else, I wake up and there's a pen in my hand. Every time I go here, I wake up, there's a pen beside me. I wake up, there's a whole package of pens that's unopened. So there will always be some pens somewhere around me that's beckoning me to join in the fray and use them for something. Yeah. So I don't think I can do anything besides writing. I wish there was, I tried to not write. I wish to not write. At Kansas State, English professor told me, I'd never be a poet. You can't be a poet. You can't write like that. And I was like, so I started trying to change my words to the way he wrote and all this. And I was reading, I'm like, that. And it took me a while to figure out that me not sounding like me was a problem.
That's a problem.
So Mike, I'm telling you, man, if I didn't write, I'd be a mumbler. I'd mumble poems that people wouldn't understand, and I'd be happy with my damn self.
AJ, that story, every time somebody says a story like that, I remind people of this story that I had when I was in college. And they had that spring semester. It's coming up on National Poetry Month, which is April, in case y'all didn't know. And they was putting out, this publication, and my English 111 English teacher. I think it was 111. She said, listen, Mr. Smalls, I want you to grab all of your stuff, bring it in. We're going to go over it. We're going to submit this work. And they did not take not one of my poems, not one, not a short story. No, they didn't take one of my prose. They didn't take none of my shit. Now, mind you, when I went to college, I did 110, 111, 113, 114. When I was in college, I took the same professor because I knew she was going to dismantle my papers because I asked her. First day in class, she gave the syllabus. We had a conversation. I said, listen, I want you to tear these pages to shreds. I said, you cannot give me my paper back if it ain't marked up with ink. And she looked at me and she laughed. And this was her phrase. She said, what you talking about, Willis? That was her phrase. And she said to me, oh, don't worry, because I will. And she was one of them people that look deep into your work. Now, mind you, in her classroom, the most you can get is a 15 out of 15. That's how she graded her papers. Mm-hmm. My average was a 14 plus. That was my average because I knew I could write and I dug into my shit. When they didn't accept none of my stuff to be submitted, I was broke. I was like, well, I was mad as hell because I know I was better than half the people that was writing anyway. And then I looking at them now. Wait till I bring my creative writing professor. I had a creative writing professor that I'm still in touch with now. I'm gonna bring him on the coffee show in the morning. He's gonna come on. But when I look back at it now, I wonder what them bastards got to say now.
I've been trying to find my math teacher and a couple of English teachers from high school.
Oh wow!
You know, because they were. I don't know if they considered me a terror, but I wasn't because I played football, basketball, and ran track. I was math club. I think I was president of the science club, president of UIL, president of math club, vice president of senior class. You know, just a whole lot of things. So I had all these meetings, but I made straight A's. So they was trying to figure out, because I always read like 3 or 4 chapters ahead, left my books in the locker, finished my homework in my other classes. So they tried to give me pop quizzes, and I'm like, I already knew that. I really didn't know. I actually had a photographic memory and didn't know it. Nobody told me. Nobody was intrinsically involved in students at that particular time to say, hey, let's see how you do this and why you do this. And I think my son is just smart as hell. I think he has the same thing. But you know, because he told me when he was 2, he said, Dad, I'm a genius.
I love it.
I'm saying he's 2 years old. I said, I know. He said, I'm a genius. He said his brother, he said, Nick not a genius and Nick black like leather. So I just left that like that. But no, man, I think it's so interesting that we do need to bring teachers in. We need to bring people in so people can see what our past looked like and how this is built of us. That there is some things that we left behind us that help make this us that we are. This you know, whether it's troubles, whether it's problems, whatever it is, because I want everybody to know that we didn't start like Betty say. My question was going to be, would you both be teachers? But that would be foolish because you are teachers. But I just think it's so interesting that my teachers, I think my teachers were they love talking to me. So I'm kind of thinking they might have said a lot of bad things to me, but they always talked to me. So I'm thinking that they kind of liked me and they knew I was, knew I was going to do something or be something. I don't know what it was, but they didn't just treat me like I was, like we don't care what you write. They were interested. Like my English teacher would tell me, she'd say, you use this word in the wrong context. Because I looked up words every day. I love looking up words. So my paper would read like, I looked up all these words. And she'd say, this word is in the wrong context. I said, which one? She'd tell me, I say, no, that word means whatever. And in context of the sentence, it means this. I say, so we can look it up. So people in the class wouldn't have their homework done and they say, Jeff, asked her something. Because they know if I asked her something, it's gonna take her, she's gonna be on it for about 10 minutes because she ain't finna let me win at nothing. So as they asked her something, asked her anything, and I talked to her about whatever, asked her something, and she just go on a tangent about whatever it is, and they finish their homework, and we good.
I did not like school if it wasn't reading. And in fact, I remember being in school and I was a class clown sometimes. I will admit I was a class clown. First of all, I was one of the shortest guys in the classroom and I had to fight all the time. I had to fight all the time because my father was the prize fighter. Everybody called him champ. And it was like, you can't fight. Your father can fight and you can't. And I bust you in your mouth. I mean, if that's what it is, then let's find out right now what it is. So one teacher one day, I stayed getting in trouble in this classroom. And he said to me, he said, was reading out loud. And he said, well, Mr. Smalls, how about you lead us and read out loud today? Now, what he didn't know is I love to read. But you know when a teacher picking on you. You know when a teacher fucking with you. And man, I picked up that book. I opened that book, and I love reading social studies. I mean, if you don't get excited with social studies, I don't know. Listen, AJ, I was reading so well. He said, would you continue on?
Would you mind reading tomorrow too?
And see what it was. Initially, I think he thought that I memorized the shit because it was something we were supposed to read. But when I kept reading, I read the whole period, that whole social studies. I read, myself. And what he expected from me was either that I couldn't read or that I was going to act an ass and he put me out the classroom. Oh, I messed him up. I jacked him up. And after that, he pulled me to the side. He said, why do you play the ass in my classroom and you're this intelligent?
Bugsy Calhoun, what up?
Bugs, what up, Bugs?
But I'm saying I completely understand that because my math teacher was that way. My math teacher, he had a third-degree black belt. He played basketball. He would actually hit 49 out of 50 free throws every time he shot 50 free throws. Most time he hit 50 out of 50. He played the whole basketball team. Even a guy that was 6'9" Alfred beat the whole basketball team one-on-one. But I'm saying he would. In the class, he just throw the eraser at me or made me go to the board. He write questions on the board. I couldn't do the full every step of the math problem, but I could fix the math problem in my head so I could write the problem, the second step. This is even quadratic equation. I write the problem, the first step, and the answer. I could actually see the answer.
Mm.
And he said, how you get that? I'm like, is it right? He said, yes, right, but how'd you get it? I said, it don't matter how I got it. when I get it wrong, then you can tell me, I messed up. But I was that way the whole time through school. Every math, I'm saying, whether algebra, trigonometry, geometry, I could see the problem, but I couldn't. That's why when I do creative writing classes with kids, I go in there and teach them. First thing I tell them, I ask them, what's the largest number in the world? And they be yelling out his number. I said, no, the largest number in the world is 9.
Mm-hmm.
There's no number larger than 9. Once you add 1 to 9, it becomes 2 numbers. I said, so if I can show you how much bigger than 9 you are, it doesn't matter how many periods or commas or whatever they put on there. You can solve any math problem in the world. Yeah. If I can just show you how much bigger than 9. So I say, okay, 27 and 9 is what? I say, if you take 1 from the 7 and make that 9 a 0, you already got 6. So you carry 1, so you got 36. I say, I don't want you to mark and carry 1. I want you to see this in your head and just write the answer. So I'll be teaching them. I start asking, because my sons could do it. I made them write their timetables every day until I can ask them anyone, and they didn't have to think about it. Because if I say 6 times 6, don't write your timetable.
Where's your timetable?
I don't know, because I want you to say, 36. Because when you write them enough, you will see them in your head, no matter what it is.
Yeah. And
I'm saying that's what I tell them about math is math. If the largest number is 9, why are you afraid of math?
You know who's like that? My brother Witz. My brother Witz, man, with math, he used to get on my nerve. I was like, ain't no way in the hell you can get like that. He was like that with math. Witz and my youngest brother Esau, he's another one, man. They were mathematicians. They know math. I didn't like math because if my answer is wrong, I couldn't argue that shit. With writing, I can stir you where I need you to go with some writing, but math, it either is or it is not. I did not like math class. I remember I just didn't like it.
Now my niece was in college. She called me one day. She said, Uncle Jeff, okay, what is this? And she just read the question off. there's a quadratic equation. I'm like, okay, the answer is whatever. She says, how did you get it? I'm like, I don't know. I said, let me sit down and figure it out. She said, oh yeah, that's it. It was the answer. And I'm saying I hadn't done math in a while, but my math teacher was working at a private school, a church, Lover's Mary Christian Academy. He's working at a school. He called me one day. He said, man, I need you to come up here. So I lived far, so I went up to the school. He said, look, the math teachers, I need you to go teach math. So I taught math for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
And it was like, I'm like, no problem. What are they working with? Because my thing is, if I can work any problem if I know what formula, what theorem, or what you're studying at this particular time, because it's all the same, but I don't know why they have all these different formulas and all these other things. And I'm like, it makes sense, but what is it applicable to right now? Okay, if I'm writing a poem, how is 9 times 9 going to help me, write this last line of this poem?
Mike, I'm with you on that. AJ is scary brilliant. I'm with you on that, bro. I'm with you.
Man, but man, I'm like Mike, man. I'm so impressed with Mike, because Mike will sit back and this is what Mike do. Mike will sit back. He say, I was gonna say, he already knew it. He knew it long before he brought it up. He just said, okay, now that there's a pause in the conversation, let me go interject this. But he got it. But Mike is sharp, man. Mike is sharp. And Mike said he was in, what did he say he was in? The Navy, Army? What was Mike in? Because him and Doc.
Where were you at when you were in the military? I will say this about Mike. I remember first hearing Mike do poetry in Moody Black's open mic. And then I watched him. He came to the workshop. Mike was like, you do the workshops, I'm coming in. And he come in the workshops. And I've watched him grow. I watched Mike grow. I watched Illusion grow. I watched Kendra grow. No Paul. A lot of them that come in there, I've watched them grow into something else. But Air Force, Mike said he was in the Air Force. What I liked about Mike was the fact that Mike wasn't afraid to say, listen, I'm not sure how this sounds, so help me out with that. That's the best student in the world you can have, when they can say, I'm not sure, but I got a damn question. And
now they say, I'm gonna read it anyway. Now that's what I was telling you about my buddy that's here with me. That's deaf. He has a TikTok, and he will set his ring light up and get on it. He would be signing, but he'd be making noises like he actually, the way he sounds the words that are not words, but he's not afraid of his voice.
Right.
So I was telling people, I said, if you're a writer and you cannot read your own words, I want you to meet him. Because how you gonna be ashamed of how you sound, and you know how to sound words? And I'm saying he's proud that he's here. See, when you proud that you hear, all that other shit don't matter.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Like, I'm here. Look at me. I'm here. They didn't think I was gonna make it this far. I'm here. And I said, it's a difference when you see what glory looked like walking.
Yeah. Man. Wow. I don't even have nothing. I can't even come with anything on top of that at all. My uncle Cairo was in the Air Force, man. Robert Small was his name. He was in the Air Force. He spent his whole career in the Air Force. Yeah. And then he was teaching hand-to-hand combat. They took him from Job Corps. Man, my uncle, let me tell you how bad my uncle was. He was in Job Corps, and he ended up leaving Job Corps to come home just to hang out. He went AWOL, and the FBI was looking for him because his hands are so lethal. They made him go into the military. Back in the day, the FBI come looking for your ass when they want you in the military. FBI picked him up and brought him to the military, and he taught hand-to-hand combat from, I think, 68 or 69 through his whole time in the military. He taught hand-to-hand combat. Yeah.
My father was in Marines.
Oh man.
My father taught nothing but shit.
I bet he was in the Marines.
That's why I was writing to the Blacks Anonymous, and I was gonna start there where talk about when you learn how to count by fives, when you know what 3 switching bitches is and why 30 is dirty, you know, all these things that we learn in dominoes. And it's like they would play dominoes over in Dallas on Cadiz. That was, they call it across the bridge, because I lived in Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff was dry. You go across the bridge to get alcohol.
Okay.
They had a domino table under the shade tree. This liquor store right here would let the black men play in the yard. I ain't never seen no police. You could buy a mink coat or a set of 4 tires. You could buy whatever you wanted right there under the place, but they played dominoes and did whatever. And the liquor store gave them liquor on to next week's check.
Wow.
So the liquor store was making money hand over fist, because he's, oh, you know, but the thing was, is I learned that there was a place that's where I say Blacks Anonymous was this group of men that probably wasn't just in Dallas, but they knew they couldn't go to a place, a legitimate place where white men would go, where they could walk in the front door and do what they did. So they would make their own places to where they did these things that other people did. But it also turned them into alcoholics, because they drunk. What if they all went in on 3 or 4 bottles of liquor? Ain't nobody leaving to 4 bottles of liquor empty. You got that 99 bottles of beer on the wall thing. You can sing that song all day. It's gonna be 0 bottles of beer on the wall when they leave.
When they leave.
Yeah. But it was just the fact that I saw America create alcoholics out of black men. And I didn't see this as a child. I understand it now as an adult. That a lot of times we don't see where America has drugged us to make us who we are, because a lot of times we think it's insignificant that this was done. No, it's not. It was planned.
Absolutely. Strategic.
There was a guide. America played the long game on us.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And still playing it.
Oh yeah.
They're still playing.
Better say it don't matter. but no, man, I'm so awestruck on the people that I've met through Instagram and through all these lives, because, you know, Chris is over there in Florida. That's, I think he's at almost 160 lives in a row.
Wow.
Now almost 360 lives in a row that he does every day. Wow. And you know, all the other people like your show in the morning, you know, coffee time with Coach Ja. I think that's dope. That a lot of people don't know what it takes to have a formidable follow through. Yeah. And a lot of poets write, and I'm like, to write and say Malcolm Martin was a Tuskegee Airman. I loved him as his mom loved Reed. Oh, that's dope. Tuskegee Airman. That is fun.
Whoever that is, tell them to go get all the information they can.
Yeah. Go get all the information you can and send it to us. We're gonna do something with that.
Yeah, because we don't have that. That's the information we need. And your family, your children, your children's children, great grand, they need to always know that.
Yeah. And we need to make that a pertinent conversation, and more of an outside conversation than just a family inside conversation.
Right.
But what I was saying is the follow through of poets, the follow through of writers. See, a lot of people say, how do I become a better writer? It's do not fear your pen. You become a better writer by writing everything that comes out. And some things you might read, you say, this don't make no sense, but maybe it wasn't supposed to. It was trying to get that out of the way so you can make sense afterwards. So at some point in time, you got to understand that you're going to come to grips with who you are in the process of walking, because no matter where you're walking, you eventually going to have a destination.
Eventually, yeah.
You know, because you don't just walk out the house and arrive at the grocery store. There's some planning. There's some planning in there somewhere, and you got to figure out what store you're going to.
Who got the best discounts? If they milk it fresh, you know, if they cold enough. So Mike got a question. Mike said he made a statement last night, and he wanted some feedback on. He said, "I said black people are playing catch up because they killed Fred Hampton. Who would have been our complete leader of the world?" And so, Mike, I'm going to say this.
But Mike, I think that's a problem, because if you notice, there are leaders in quadrants, because the language that's spoken in New York is not spoken in Florida. The language spoken in Texas, you don't hear that in Kansas or Missouri. You don't hear Chicago talk over in Illinois. Chicago talk over in Oregon.
Right.
Or Seattle. And you don't hear that California lingo down in New Mexico or Colorado. So I don't think that one person could do it. I think that we could mimic, we could learn from the one person that was leading and become better leaders in the other regions. But I think that's where our shortcoming has been. We were always depending on somebody to lead us. Why can't we be like Moses and all of us walk, Samuel and everybody walk with Moses? Like, okay, you got a staff, I got a staff.
Yeah.
Okay, your staff turns into a snake, mine turns into a spider. Okay, what we're gonna do? We're gonna make this work. So until we actually understand that we don't need one leader to take us anywhere, we need a whole bunch of people to learn to lead to take us everywhere.
Yeah. I will say that the Fred Hampton was like a transmitter in the city.
Yeah.
What that means is he was the connection. But Fred Hampton was building people. See, if he was going to be the only leader and wasn't going to build nobody behind him, they wouldn't have killed him. But what it was, they saw in Fred Hampton how he made men turn into men and leaders and people who can speak and weren't afraid to speak and make the connections with other people. He was the connector. And I think his position, that was the mic in his position, why he was able to leap so far out there, because he was able to take the Latino community and the poor whites and the hippies from over here and the blacks over here and the blacks uptown black and make all of them come together and say, you know what, I might not like the fact that he's smoking that weed in my face, but I'm gonna sit down and listen to this message. See, he was that man. And I think that's what I don't know that he would have been the leader, because I don't think that's even what he wanted. He just wanted to connect people. And that was the danger. As far as white America is concerned, the danger in the fact that he could say, listen, shut up and just listen, and I'll take you someplace that you ain't even know existed. He was that. So I don't know that he would have been the leader, because I don't even think that's what he wanted. I don't.
But it's like, how come common ground ain't so common? See, a lot of people, like Malcolm. When Malcolm discovered that what he was saying in the beginning wasn't what he should say in the end, he changed it. So a lot of people in the process of leading, they will find a fly in the soup and throw it out and make a whole nother pot of soup. Or they'll find a flaw or broken string and replace that whole string. So a lot of times we are afraid to correct ourselves in the process of telling somebody else what it's about. So until we began to understand that I'm just me, I make mistakes. So yeah, I was wrong about that. So let me tell you why I was wrong, and let's go so nobody else will be that wrong like I was wrong. Right. So let's move. So I feel like that Fred Hampton wasn't afraid to be who he was. He was unashamed of who he was, and he was willing to tell you everything he is. Yeah. A lot of people don't want to tell you everything. They say, no, like Martin said, look, I'm gonna tell you my church self, I'm gonna tell you my sermon self, my speaking self. I'm not gonna let you see all this other me in these closets. Because I tell people, I said, man, I done put on suits and dresses on everything in my closet. You can see everybody out. It's all around the house, dressed up, bones dressed up in clothes, so you can see what's in my closet.
And when you are man enough to do so, that's when you can make a difference. You see, we got to stop pussyfooting around with it. That's the problem, right? That's old school right there, pussyfooting around. But we need that old school harsh kind of talk. But because we know how to put salve and ointments on the wound after we open it back up. You see, back then, what they tell you, you're gonna put some turpentine or some other shit on there, and you're gonna keep on going, right?
Man, I spent summers with my grandmother, both my grandmothers. My grandmother in Wink used to dip that little can of snuff. She just take it out and put it on her lip like that. So I'll be outside, get stung by a bee or a cut or something. She said, Jeffrey, come here. And she said, and she rub it on that cut. And I'm gonna tell you, it would soothe. It might sting for a second. Done. I'm saying I don't know how she made all this magic, but she was magic. My grandmama was magic, man. My grandmother had some remedies. Yeah, my grandmother had some remedies for. That's exactly why I respect Malcolm, brave enough to change. Yeah, because a lot of times we don't, as people, we don't confront the wrongs we've done in a way that we let other people know. Look, I'm sorry, I was wrong about this, and say, I believe this my whole life. I just found out I was wrong about what I believed. So that would deter anybody else from believing what you believed and lead them in the direction you're going. You know, when I read you what my son wrote me last night, when we was on the meeting, man, it was tears in my eyes because I hadn't really expected that, you know. And it was like, sometimes a message can come to you at the moment you need to hear it. Although you need to hear it, you wasn't prepared for it to be said.
I'm glad you said that. So glad you said that. That's what I want to respond to about Malcolm's message. Malcolm's message wasn't, let's turn the nation upside down. However, it was a language and dialect that needed to be changed. Now, what we fail to realize is that who's to say that wasn't what the nation was doing anyway? We don't know. That wasn't why they fell out. And see, I think people got the whole story twisted. People didn't fall out because Malcolm had a new direction he was going in. Malcolm and the nation fell out because Malcolm disobeyed a direct order. And it didn't allow timing for the right. Let me rephrase that for y'all so I can understand it better. Medicine can do two things. It can cure you, or goddamn it can kill you.
Yeah.
The right dosage, you be fine. The wrong dosage, you be dead. And so what I'm saying is, when you start to take messages and you turn this way without understanding of the message, you putting yourself in sudden death. And what happened? Malcolm died. We didn't get to hear him really deliver a message. Malcolm was murdered. We didn't get to hear a message. They blamed it on the black folks. And then here we are saying, he's right, we need to be friends with all these white people. And now you got your ass still. Now you 20 years, 30 years, 40 years back because Malcolm didn't get delivered a message that you thought he was doing too early. You thought it was on time, but it wasn't in the right placement. And Malcolm knew that, which in fact is why he didn't come out and say, okay, look, this is what y'all need to do. He wasn't allowed at the time to do so. And that's why they shot his ass from up in the Raptors and killed him. And y'all blamed it on the black people. Y'all said the black people did it. And he got shot, sent him ass from an upward position. And y'all said the Nation of Islam did. And so again, we listen to what the fuck everybody tell us, and they got no facts. And listen, don't take my word for it. Go on YouTube and see how they broke it down. He got shot, sent him ass from an upward position. Now them niggas that had the guns was down there at the foot of the damn stage. So how the hell they killed him? Including the ones that went to jail. But the message was it was such an important message. Malcolm knew he couldn't say, okay, boom, do this like that, because y'all wasn't gonna do this shit anyway, because y'all love white people. Y'all love running the master for everything any damn way. You know. Man.
Now, but still, a lot of things. That's the problem. See, we've listened to what other people said for so long that we don't even need to question. You know, like Cartman on what's that? South Park. He said, "Are you questioning my authority?" You know, and it's like somebody tell us something, and we don't even know who said it. Now we out here repeating what they said as though it was truth. Because I told somebody the other day, they sent me some videos of some nurses talking about, okay, this is what COVID is, this is what this shot is, and this. I told them, I say, do you know that you don't need a certification or a degree to go to a scrub store and buy some scrubs? I say, you don't have to be a doctor to go buy a stethoscope. I say, you don't need a doctor. You don't have to be a doctor to buy just because you got some scrubs and a stethoscope around your neck, don't mean that I'm gonna believe this doctor shit you spewing out your mouth.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
Lady, I tell them, I say, verify who it is you listen to before you pass it on. The person you send it to might be gullible.
Listen, what about the dude, the little young black guy that was walking around telling people he's a doctor, had his own practice and everything, was seeing patients and everything? What about him? Y'all forgot about that, though.
I don't know about that.
Listen, AJ, look, young black brother had glasses on. He had his own office, his own practice, and he had one damn doctor class to save his damn life. Seeing patients. Shit was all on the news.
But I'm saying it's a lot of people, you know, that movie with what's his name? That was in I'm trying to think his name. He's young. He's not that young anymore, but he's had a lot of major roles when he was young. He played in Titanic and some other movies. And he played in that movie where he'd be a pilot, he'd be all these things. He just print up him a degree or a pilot.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. But I'm saying, but that's the same kind of thing. And that just shows how if you tell somebody you're this, they're gonna say, oh, okay, he's a pilot, so he's flying our plane today. And you know, you're like, let me ask American Airlines, do they know this cat?
That joke was cashing checks and every damn thing.
Oh yeah.
Flying for free. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. But you know, we like to believe almost anything. You know, we're gonna accept it. We're gonna accept it. We're gonna accept it.
I think it's easy for us to do it because we're so used to believing everything we were told.
We had no choice.
And Carter G. Woodson told us so much that we don't really believe or listen to what it was, because Carter G. said the miseducation of the Negro and how, you know, you're forced to go to the back of the bus. So when you can finally go to the front of the bus, you still prefer to be at the back of the bus. And I don't know if that's a DNA thing or it's this transmuted through, I have no other idea, but it's strange on how all these things that we were told that we could do now that we don't do because people sit at the counter. They wanted to make us, we could sit at the front counter. We could do this.
Right.
Now we still sit at the back booth, at the booth in the back. We still sit at the back of the bus. We still do all these things that people fought. You know, got water hose, got dogged dogged down and beat. They say, okay, now you're free. You can do it. You say, but I don't want to be free. I want to buy some chains around my neck, and I want to buy these gold chains and wear them like shackles.
Well, listen, we love it. We love it. We love the whole idea of being part of what everybody else say is cool. We do.
Oh, yeah, that's their bias. And you know, just like I think it was a couple of rappers when they say, "Oh yeah, we think it's okay for men to wear these skirts and these dresses." And I saw a couple of rappers in the dress. I'm like, I don't think this is okay. I don't know. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's wrong for me.
It's wrong for me.
Yeah, it's wrong for me. So, you know, you might find some justice in it, but
you can go ahead with it if you choose to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just what we do. That's just what we do. That's what we love.
Do me a favor, man. Read that poem, man.
Which one?
One you read yesterday.
All right, let me I'm gonna try to switch IG. I'm gonna switch my IG so that we could because this phone is gonna die, and I'm gonna switch my IG real quick. So if you're on my IG, don't worry about it. I'm coming back to you now, and then we'll jump on that because I don't want to miss nothing. I don't want y'all to miss nothing, IG. And I'll read the one I read last night. And shoot, man. We got a long way to go, bro. We got a long ways to go, but we'll get there. We'll get there. One way or another, we get there.
Let's just say Ad Hockey Matabuti. Gun Ali carried Carter G. Woodson. further than his book From Planet to Planet. So I'm off there start definitely to delve into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah. So we can get adjusted to what they're saying with that one.
But I think it's really interesting that we have a lot of books that taught us, like not just him, Naim Akbar, a lot of books that he had and a lot of things that he told us or taught us.
Mm-hmm.
That the cover changed, so you think you're buying a different book. The one book that I bought probably 20 copies of is what is it? Stolen Legacy.
Okay.
I've had 20 copies because everybody I give a copy to,
it never come
forget
back.
I gave them a copy.
You know, one of the most powerful books my mother made me read was Message to the Black Man in the...
Oh yeah.
That is a book that women, black men all over need to read it. In fact, white people need to read it. Because we need a just understanding of why and how shit end up the way it is. It didn't just happen this way. You know, none of us jumped our ass on a plane or a boat and decided to come here and live under some people who used to live in caves and shit. Nobody asked us that. You know, they say they said these barbarians wasn't real smart, but they can fight like hell, and they conquered a lot of shit. Well, the barbarians they was talking about was the Crusaders. Those was the barbarians they was talking about, and they took over every damn thing. They took over everything on the basis of religion, as they say. You know, religion.
Yeah. But that was the gold card, the gold standard.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna send some missionaries down here and teach y'all
like
our religion. Then we're gonna bring some pilgrims or some settlers or whatever we want to call them down here, and we're gonna steal your land. Then we're gonna bring them down here and see if there's any gold in these here hills and see if y'all got some oil underneath that there dirt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was almost like a whole plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Betty says she's gonna do some research on Stolen Legacy for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like Penny Spies now. But the whole thing is we don't see how they perpetuated the process in every country that they've been in. Because I always tell people, I say this language, if not just it's not just stolen, it's borrowed, it's bartered and borrowed and some other things. So because you have English words that they only say that they say in French and Spanish that they don't have other words for because we stole some and we created some stuff ourselves. But most of it, borrowed, stolen.
Yeah, check this out. Chiquita Brownskin said, our problem is we're always on code with white people than our own community. Very true. That's why Joe Biden knew that we were going to vote for him. That's why he said what he said when he said it. You're right. And you're not now, and I'm gonna keep it 100% with you. Joe Biden ain't nobody we need to be voting for any damn way. However, we do know the lesser of two evils, which is why we started this platform here.
Well, and see, my thing is because that was the only alternative.
That was the only alternative.
So my whole goal is let's stop having one alternative.
That's it.
Let's create multiple alternatives. Let's make sure that no position on the ballot going opposed, no judge, no city councilman, nobody, no congressman, no senator go unopposed. So when we start putting equitable people against these people where they see there's somebody running against them, just like this was the first time. See, you know, Trump is saying that there was illegal ballots, illegal counts, but no senator that won, no Republican senator that won is saying there were illegal ballots.
Right.
Ballots or votes. They're not even asking for a recount. They're saying, shh, don't say anything about senators. That's just on the same ballot. They don't understand that the ballot that had the president that was illegal would have a senator on it that's illegal too. But that's not a conversation you hear out of nobody's mouth.
You're not gonna hear it. You know,
because I'm like, if he got all these illegal ballots, how are you still saying that you won? And it's like we don't have logic that applies both ways.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's like that whole poem I wrote. It say maybe we've been white hoping
for a long time. for a long.
Yeah, we've been white open. So what if hope we're black? See, we need to start black hoping and change some shit because white hoping ain't work for us.
It ain't work. Well, and we'll go back to what I said yesterday. We need some human hoping. Some human hoping. Because we hoping on some niggas that ain't got nothing to do with us. They come on, yeah. Which is okay. So I'm gonna make a reference to that. So Dave Chappelle said his son said, "Oh, we didn't have school today, Dad, because we was doing school shooting drills." And Dave Chappelle said, "This is the dumbest shit I heard." He said, "First of all, the school shooter's right in the classroom where you teaching the kids how to run." So here we are. Talking about we want freedom and we want respect and we want this and that from the same people that we get ready to tell them how we get ready to come for their ass.
Yeah,
oh,
they're in the meeting.
This one in now for your ass. Oh, really?
They're in the meeting. We're gonna march down 10th Street. We're gonna make a left on Main, and then we're gonna circle the building.
Now be right so there. We coming.
Yeah, but they're in the meeting with us, so they're like, okay, 10th Street. Okay, what time y'all starting?
The niggas will be there about 4:36. 4:36. They'll be right there.
Yeah. They say 4 o'clock, but they ain't gonna be on time.
Right, Chiquita. He said, if you're not black if you don't vote for me. And because he knew, listen, he didn't even spend money. Joe Biden ran the lowest budget campaign ever and got the most votes ever. But that was a no-brainer. First of all, if you still voted for Trump, and after all the shit, forget about what he lied about. Let's just talk about all the shit he did wrong, right? We're not even gonna get into the lies. Let's talk about the obvious, blatant shit that he did wrong. Let's just stop right there. Because we can close the casket on it right then and there. We ain't got to go into the lies. What he did wrong from the jump. If you vote for him after that, damn it, they would close the coffin on you too.
now Betty say, look at your poem. How can you listen? It's bad when somebody internalize something that you wrote back to you. Like, okay, so how you gonna say it? Read your poem. Martin, check your sermon, mountaintop. Martin, check your mountaintop sermon.
Man, and the way they set Martin Luther King up, my God, the way they set that man up. But we live amongst an evil species, man. Humans is one evil species. We some evil son of bitches, I'm telling you. I learned how to say that in the South, son of bitches.
No, but see, not just that, it's like we, most of the time, we got a Judas amongst us all the time.
All the time.
Somebody say, okay, what can I get out of it? Okay, and I just gotta do what? Okay, I ain't gonna point at him good. I'm just gonna walk behind him and do this. This is like they kiss Jesus on the cheek. Like, yeah, I'm gonna kiss the one I kiss on the cheek. It's like we just keep turning state's evidence.
Hold on, I want to read this here. Hold on. She said, I would rather have Trump than Biden. I'm glad that the white people feel so bold to tell us that they don't like us. Now we get to see our communities whoop their asses. Joe Biden is worse than Trump. Now, I will say this. A devil is a devil. I'm going to say that first of all. However, my biggest issue with Trump is, I'm going to tell you what I like about Trump. I like the fact that he showed how ignorant white men in office are. I love that. Number two, I like the fact that he going to be bold about the real shit, how he really don't care about black people. That's been his thing anyway. But the worst parts about Donald Trump that I don't like and I think can't be accepted is that he don't know how to run business. He's a takeover artist. He's a warmonger. He's a muscle kind of guy. He believes in the takeover. He believes in the coup. And that is a dangerous seed to have in a position where we already at the bottom. Because see, if he fuck up once, we dead. It ain't even about us having a chance, because if they shut the borders off and we ain't got no fish, we ain't got no water, we ain't got no food coming in, black people is wiped out. And so on a business aspect, I would have to take Joe over Trump, because Trump business is about Trump business. And he does not do good business. And that's been proven. He got a track record. He don't do good business. He living off a name. and he tried to do good business, and he didn't. And that's the main thing that got us fucked up where we at. He wanted to cut corners to keep the money in the house.
Well, the one thing I can say is the problem I have is, let's say America got laws. You know, America probably got some laws. You know, probably some things that are usually done in America a certain way that they didn't write specifically because they knew the person would be an honorable person in that particular position.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a person that's not honorable in that position, they will scrutinize everybody else, and not they want to see everybody else's taxes. They want to see somebody else's birth certificate. They want to do, but they won't turn in their own taxes. Mm-hmm. They would do this and won't turn in the records from a hotel, and they will have meetings at this thing, and they have all this money coming in, and then your son-in-law can make $800 million in the 3.5 years that he's been in office, and it's okay. But you want to have Joe Biden's son taxes scrutinized. So I understand what people are saying, but I don't see how we overlook. That's what I'm saying. We will overlook the ability of somebody not to adhere to the laws that they want us to abide by.
That's it.
See, you want me to abide by these laws, but you got policemen. Now you got police union. It's not the policeman, it's the police union that would edit a videotape that would take 15 days before so they can get all 8 stories straight, even though it was only 2 people there. And I'm saying, so it's a problem when we are the only ones abiding by the laws that were set, and the laws weren't even for us. So let's, and I understand what people say. My best friend, she talking about, well, Trump was going to turn this in, he was going to show the truth. I'm saying he haven't shown his truth.
Period.
I'm saying, so how you gonna tell somebody else's truth when all you're doing is lying?
All you're doing is lying.
You know, it's like, I'm gonna believe Chicken Little. Y'all might not know who Chicken Little is. I'm gonna believe Chicken Little. You know, she running around talking about the sky's falling, and the sky's falling. Yeah, oh, sky's falling because she got hit in the head with an acorn. So, you know, all the men who cried, the boy who cried wolf. See, a wolf might come. So when the wolf show up, nobody cared. They ran out with shotguns a whole lot of times. So we got a man that cried wolf in this place that's been crying wolf, and now he's yelling wolf, and ain't no wolf still. You know, when everybody that you put in position to do what you want them to do tells you that that makes no sense, but you still fighting. What kind of person does that make you?
Yeah.
It's like you can't go, okay, you got food stamps, right? You got food stamps. You go to the store, I got $100 in food stamps. I go to the store, I spend $99.99. I go back to the store tomorrow, tell them I got $100 in food stamps, so I'm gonna buy $100 worth of food again. The store ain't gonna, they ain't gonna let me do that. They're gonna say, let me tell you how the law of food stamps work. There's a law of food stamps. You have $100, but you spend $100. So, you know, you're not getting no more food off of the $100 food stamp. So regardless of how many lies you tell, that first lie got you. Better say laws weren't for us true, and they weren't, because we're sitting down abiding by laws that weren't for us, and we stop at red lights and use about turn signals, and then they say your license plate light is out. I got stopped a bunch of times for license plate light. I said, can I see it? Because I think I just replaced that. They said, no, you don't have to get out. I'm like, so I got a light out that I can't see
until you leave.
Yeah.
Chiquita, Joe Biden and Obama were friends. I agree with that, and I do believe. I'm gonna tell you what I said, because I'm not satisfied with Obama. I'm disappointed with him too. But I'm gonna tell you where my disappointment lies, and this is why we started this platform. The disappointment lies within us because we still waiting for somebody outside that don't live down here to do the shit we need to do for ourselves. If we don't do the local shit here, I don't care if you put Joe Smoke. You see, they put Donald Trump ass up in there, the dumbest son of a bitch you probably gonna run into at this point in time. And he was there, but he only did what people around him told him we should be doing. That's it. Until we put our shit, and it ain't about a black agenda, it's about a human agenda. Stop putting black in front of the agenda. I'm human before I'm black. Let's say that shit first. I gotta,
because Obama ain't gonna fix no potholes on your street.
Say again?
Obama ain't gonna fix the potholes on your street.
Shit, Obama ain't walking on your damn street. He don't even know what street you live on.
I know, but that's what they're mad about. I got potholes on my street. Obama didn't fix them.
He didn't, right. And he ain't going to. And you know why? Because you ain't put that shit in writing to get it to the people that can get it to them. Here's the thing. Even with your boss, you work at a job and you work for somebody. You can't call your boss directly most of the time. Because your boss got a secretary. And then if it's something that she can handle, you don't get to speak to the boss. And then if it's that bad, okay, well, let me switch you to human resources. Oh, you got another problem. We're going to send you to this department. We don't get to the head without having that middle person. That's just the way it's set up. It's set up like that for a reason. And that's our fault because we don't abuse. We need to abuse that shit. That's the shit we need to be abused. You know, we run to the liquor store every Friday. Patty, we go to the liquor store Friday. Go to our ass and say, "Look here, put this on the bill too. Put that on there. Put that on the bill. I want that on the ballot. Put that shit on the ballot." That's what we need to. That's what we need to be working on. Because when we do that, we don't have to worry about whether this sucker gonna be here again the next 2 years. Because if you ain't do right by us now, we got somebody coming right behind your ass. You're getting out of there. That's it.
But I'm saying, when we have enough power in our community to vote somebody in, you know how many people gonna come to your church and talk to y'all? When you get 100% of the people in your district registered to vote, regardless of how big your district is, you're gonna have a line of senators and congressmen and city councilmen at the door of your church wanting to come in and speak to the congregation, and they're gonna be like Trump was. He's in there, he's clapping and all off clap. Like he ain't ever been there. But I'm saying you're going to have all these visitors because they want to tell you what they would do for you. And right now, they're not going to do anything for you because you're not even, you voted 35%? Now you voted 60%? And we have to.
Listen, AJ, they don't even come to your community. Think about it. They don't even come to your community. You don't even see the people. This dude could live right around the corner from you and never know. You don't even come knock on your door. Don't even drive down your street. And here's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have to worry about who's going to be there because we put them there.
Yeah.
You ain't got to worry about, okay, look here. Your son will be graduating how long? Okay, this is what here's what's on the line. This is what we need to have. And your daughter's next, and your daughter's next, and then we're going to go to your grandson. And by the time your son be here, we're going to put him in. That's how the shit happens. These people are not just elected, they are selected. That's why they are taught so they can get in place. They don't just figure out, oh, well, I'm going to be a senator. I'm going to be a governor. No, they are groomed for this. They're sent to school for
In Kemet, that's where it was. If you were a Mason, your grandfather was a Mason. His grandfather was a Mason. His grandfather was a Mason. And you know all about masonry. Okay, if you're in architecture, your father, Imhotep, your father was in architecture. Your father designed pyramids. So this is what your lineage did. So we have in the White House right now somebody that went against the rules of nepotism and found a way around nepotism in this place. We're right, we put money in the wrong places, but went around nepotism and still did everything he could to make sure his kids were a part of this. And then when people said that Jared couldn't get no top secret clearance, and neither Ivanka, he usurped them and they give him a clearance anyway. So we're not asking questions. We're not asking the right questions right now because there were 50 lawsuits not to win, to distract us so we get tired of hearing about lawsuits. All these things were distractions because while these lawsuits was going on, we don't know how many shredders was bought by the White House. We don't know how many copiers were in here when he replaced them people in the Pentagon, how many copies of information they got and how much information being transmitted. So the hack, we don't know where that information went.
And they were already working on the next 4 years.
I know it. But none of these things we know, we're not asking none of these questions.
Yeah.
And everybody's worried about, they're saying, well, eyes open, closed minds for sure. But see, my thing is, a lot of times sleight of hands is never sleight of hands. It's just we focus so much on the hands that we don't see the slight.
You know, it's like I think we need to go back to we need to be not just spoon fed, but you remember how the teacher used to come to your desk and say, like, let me see if you can understand what you're reading.
Yeah.
Because we ain't understand shit. We just reading, okay, that's what that say, and just going along. Somebody say, you eat spam 3 times a week and it's good for you, and we just take it and go. I don't even know what the hell spam is. Do it come from a spig? What the hell is it? But that's what we do, man. We just let people tell us whatever. They put it on the news and we run with it. When they listen, man, listen. Let's talk about this whole this COVID-19 shit. They said it was fake news. Did they say it was fake? You sitting right here, you just got over COVID. Wasn't nothing fake about that shit when you couldn't breathe and you couldn't walk around and sleep. My son was on the FaceTime with me the other day. He in New York City. He said, Dad, that shit is fake. I said, well, we'll go dig up my cousin who died from it. And go dig up the minister who's a representative for Farrakhan in New York City. That's like a father to me. Go dig his ass up and let me hear his voice still alive if this shit is fake. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we listen to what anybody else tell us and we run with the shit. We run with it.
It was somebody telling me, he said, and that COVID shit, I'm saying, hold up before we start this. I said, because my best friend, April 1st, mother-in-law here, March 1st, other friends, September the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I just had my negative test, what, 2.5 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Just had my negative test. So you want to talk about COVID? Let's talk about COVID.
Yeah, but you better.
But my thing is, I wash my hands getting out of the car, getting in the car. I wear my mask everywhere we go. So the only way I could have got it is we had a guest in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm thinking that we family. You stand here, so when you go outside, you're gonna take care of yourself the way you take care of us in here. But you know, a lot of things we have unspoken words that we need to start speaking up about. We got shit going on in our communities that we need to speak up about. We can't just sit down here and think that, okay, we're not gonna do this anymore, right? It's not a question. It's like, look, come on, we can't do this no more. We need to have open conversations. When we're gonna talk to us about us.
It's not worried about everybody else all the damn time. Our shit is internal. We got a lot of shit we got to work on right here.
Oh yeah, in the house.
In the house. In the same bedroom you sleeping every night. There's some shit going on that you ain't facing yet.
and I really think the most important thing is that we don't understand the blessings we've received in the last 8 months. Because a lot of people that you talk to almost every other day or whenever now, you didn't know before COVID showed up. A lot of people that you are supporting and that you believe in, that you listen to, you didn't know before COVID. So until we understand that everything's a blessing in our day, every day you get up, you're excellent. You just have to pay attention to why you're excellent. What you need to find out in this day is always around you. You can find where you're supposed to go just by looking. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we don't pay that much attention to the things around us to know exactly what's around us.
Yeah. We're just there. We just exist. We just exist and talk about mighty whitey. I know that's old school, right? They don't know nothing about that kind of talk.
Oh yeah.
But mighty whitey been tearing ass for a long time. And we still keep saying, well, can I get a nickel today? How about a dime? You got 2 pennies? Remember that song? Hey, mister, do you got a dime? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still doing that shit. Tweet.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but right now, man, we are in such a blessed position because we have people. I got 4 people on my Instagram listening to you talk. I got Dogman Blues. I got Betty. I got on your Instagram. I'm saying you got people on your Instagram. We here talking on StreamYard. Yeah. So the thing is why don't everybody come back with a question next Thursday? Because we're gonna be here next Thursday 10 times now, Coach John. and we can have a conversation that you want to hear some about. So you don't have to sit here and listen to whatever we talk about. You can actually, we can talk about what you want to talk about. We can bring you in because we've invited people to the show. So we're going to have people. See, a lot of times if they don't know who you are, they're not answering your calls because of that. We don't know them, you know. But see, until we get you to believe in us and we start believing in you, and we bring more people to this circle and say, look, we finna have a family conversation.
Yes.
We finna have a conversation that we need to have.
Yeah.
Then people start listening. Then you understand that maybe we need to bring somebody in. Maybe you got somebody that's running for office, or the one office in Georgia. You got a friend in Georgia that's talking about they don't want to vote. Bring them to the show. Let's talk about this. Early voting started Monday. We still got time.
Yeah.
And see, right now, we don't have time to play with any of this because a lot of people say they don't vote. Cool. You don't vote. Well, I told my friend, I said, okay, you don't vote. So vote because I asked you. I'm begging you to vote for me. You know, don't go vote because you want to. Go vote because I'm begging you. You know, that's one day out of 365, man, I'm asking you to do something. So when we start letting them know that it's important to me, I'm saying it don't have to be important to you. You know, family reunions, you might not want to go, but when you get there, you're going to get some good food. You're going to see some people you like, and a lot of people you probably don't. But you're going.
You're going in.
Because they say, no, you come to the family reunion this year. You know, so let's consider voting a family reunion.
Yeah. I want to see a day, and I'm tired of saying I ain't gonna see it in my time. I ain't doing that shit no more because I've seen a black president in my time. So that unbelieving shit, I'm not doing that no more. I want to see a day where we just got parades of black faces going to the voting poll. Let's see that shit. Because what I'm trying to tell people is the system needs to be fixed. The system ain't going nowhere. So you got to get your black ass and find your position in that system that works for you. Because if you ain't see the position we got now ain't working, I don't know what else to tell you. Because our position right now ain't working worth a hell. And so if we can figure out, okay, we're gonna vote this day, the whole shit changed. You ain't got to worry about what's gonna happen tomorrow. Just be prepared when they come knocking on the door.
That's what I'm saying. Early voting in Georgia. Let's get about 100,000 people together and say, okay, it's early voting. Let's all go vote tomorrow. Early voting. They're gonna say today, the 5th of January. Why they got all these people lined up? See, until we actually change our mentality about the things that we're so stubborn about. Because we have a lot of people say, man, I don't vote. That don't work. You know, Joe Biden ain't nothing. Kamala ain't nothing. Cool, they ain't nothing. But I'm gonna tell you, if you don't start walking out your house to the grocery store and you ain't got no car, you ain't gonna make it to the store. So when you gonna start walking? When you gonna start working on what it is you got to work on? Yeah. Because we have to go. We got to do something. We got to begin somewhere. I say every beginning has to start somewhere.
Has to start somewhere. Darkman Blue says we have to start policing ourselves, govern ourselves as well, and then we can have the one voice that listen. Darkman Blues. You speaking my language now. I said on this live right here, our first step is to get a community watch program in our neighborhoods. If we can't get a community watch going in our neighborhoods, we don't have nothing else to talk about. That's your first step. Because when you do that, guess what happens when the police officers come in your neighborhood? There's a officer already in there that know, okay, look, so-and-so and his nephew gonna be standing on this corner. They okay. And these guys over here, they just gonna be laughing. That's all right. Them girls over there, they argue all the time, but they ain't hitting on shit. They just arguing. You see, then they got somebody to be. Now you got somebody inside that can tell you what the shit is going on, and they got to respond to that. We won't do that. How don't we have community watch programs? That don't make sense to me. Why we can't do that? And if we start there, then we get aldermans, and then we get all these little local offices start filling up. It's just that simple. It's a chain reaction. But we got to start some damn where.
But I'm saying that's what I was telling Dogman Blues. That's where our conversation started. Our conversation started because we say, okay, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna say, okay, we need one example of what change looks like. Whatever city it's in, whatever place it's in. Say, okay, so what we're gonna do? Okay, we don't even need to mimic it. If we're gonna mimic something, look at what Stacey Abrams did in Georgia. Look what Stacey Abrams did in all these other places. She started there and moved around and said, okay, we're going to get these people registered. I'm saying in Dallas, everywhere I performed when I was in Dallas, I had a stack of voters registration cards with me because in Texas, voter registration card, you tear it off, got a self-addressed stamped envelope, and you just mail it off.
Okay. Okay.
So, and in Mississippi, you had to make copies, and it just shows you how other places make it so hard for you to even register. So if they're making it hard for you to register, don't that mean that your vote count a little more?
Count a little more.
You know what I'm saying? If you go buy something at the dollar store, or you go to an apparel store and buy the same thing. The dollar store, you know, it might last you about a week. You know, I bought some tape, you know, little visible tape to put on my packages at the dollar store. I think I put it on about 4 packages, and I went in there and it just a little bit of piece. I'm like, so how much was on here? 4 inches of tape for $1? You know, you didn't really read it. But when you go somewhere else and pay $3.99, you're getting, you know, a couple of yards of tape. Yeah. So it's like we don't understand the value of the things we already have because everybody told us there was no value in it. And so your vote don't matter. But if your vote didn't matter, why is he still suing the Supreme Court? Why is he trying to take this case so far to get rid of your vote, to get rid of your 20 million votes?
Yeah.
20 million of y'all, he's saying 20 million minorities out of 4 states don't matter.
Don't matter. 20 million.
And then 17 Attorney General say 20 million of y'all don't matter. Texas Attorney General say 20 million. He actually changed in Texas. He moved the ballot boxes, made 1 per county. It's over 5 million people in Houston County. One box to put your. Can't you envision a line of people trying to mail it the same day? But I'm saying, so if your vote didn't count, why are they trying to make your vote not count and making it so hard for you to actually vote?
Yeah, yeah. And they already know you ain't standing on the line for so long. They already know that.
I bet if they said you couldn't buy that rap album, you'd be standing in line. if you can't listen to that WAP video, you're gonna be hey, what you mean I can't listen to WAP?
You can't buy them rims and shit unless you vote. Your ass will be right there.
Yeah.
Look,
what's up, Robert?
Look, weed is legal, but you can't buy it if you don't go vote. Your ass will be on that.
Yeah, you need that little sticker. Put it on your driver's license. I voted.
I voted. Let me get my blunt.
You know, but I just think it's so wrong. Robert, good to have you here. I think it's so wrong that we've let so many people say things that are wrong in our families, around us, in our communities, and not corrected them at the time they said it. And now we're trying to go back and see who said it, you know, who said they vote don't count, who say I ain't voting because, you know, I voted before and it didn't work. But what I'm saying, I was explaining that we voted for Obama 60%. This year they hadn't put out all the votes out, but I'm quite sure it's about 71, 72%.
Yeah.
So I want, if any of you played sports, man or woman played sports, volleyball, be it basketball, whatever it is, if you ever remember your coach going into the huddle and say, look, we're finna play for the championship. Okay, I'll put your hands in. I want everybody to give it their 60% today. I don't think anybody would tell you that 60% is worth your effort in a game that you're playing, whether it's just a game.
Yeah, even if it's spades, right?
Yeah.
You don't just say we just gonna go board unless we going blind.
Yeah, yeah. No, we go board every hand. And you got a 13. You got a 13, but you're going board. We're gonna go board. You got both jokers, the ace, king, queen, jack, 10.
We gonna go board.
And 2 other aces, and you sitting there, I'm going board. It's like, and that's the value of our vote. Believe it or not, the value of our vote is that people, you know, because me, I laughed at when everybody was mad at Joe Biden for what he said. But nobody was mad at Trump when Trump say, blacks, what you got to lose?
What you got to lose? The same shit.
Yeah, what you got to lose? You know, it don't matter. You know, I ain't gonna do shit for y'all no way, but what you got to lose? You don't know. And Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black, because he saw the detriment that this other person had caused. Like, I would come up here and say what he's caused, but if it didn't affect you, you don't know.
And what what Joe Biden said, regardless of the person, he don't even realize the depths of what he said.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I had conversations about that. People was mad. I'm like,
it's the same shit. We in the same damn Monopoly board.
I'm like, you mad? I'm saying this man just said if you enjoyed the 3 years you already had, if you enjoyed this man walking on the Constitution and lying every day, what 6,000 lies or how many lying every day? If you enjoy that, then vote for him. He said, but if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, because I saw what he did to y'all. I saw what he did for y'all. I saw the destruction in the community. I saw how he was talking about Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group. I saw when he said all these other things. I saw when he said stand down and stand by. I saw these things when he was telling the Klan, like, y'all gonna get rid of our bases? Y'all gonna get rid of our statues? Y'all gonna change our flag? Right. I'm like, so our is a designation of ownership. So our bases means that Robert E. Lee and all these bases is yours. So our means that we don't want, why are you getting rid of this 10-foot statue of this traitor that we call a hero?
Mm-hmm. You don't go to other countries and see the losers stand up in statues.
Hey man, I went all over Germany. I ain't said swastika nowhere.
The losers see no statue.
I didn't see a statue of Hitler nowhere. I didn't see nobody with their hand up like this nowhere. It wasn't, because the designation of what it meant. But we walk around with, there's people with Confederate flags on their cars and in the back of their trunks, and they say, well, it's just it's old glory. Because I say, the other day when New York, the guy in New York, he got arrested because he let too many people in his bar and it was against the rules, so he got arrested. So they started picketing in front of his bar. So at thousands of people in front of his bar, all of them with these big giant flags. So I'm wondering, who making all these flags? Mm-hmm. I need to go into the flag business. I need to go into the American flag business. I'm saying they flying these big American flags because they wouldn't let them bring a Confederate there.
Yeah.
I say, but sometimes when Old Glory swings in the wind, I see a little Confederate flag underneath. I see a little paint underneath there. Mm-hmm. I see that little circle underneath there. You ain't hiding that far.
Yeah. Chiquita Brown said, she made a mention about Black Lives Matter. The organization don't mean anything to me, and I'm not a supporter financially or any other thing. I love Black Lives Matter. Sounds great to me. I love that slogan, but that organization has nothing to do.
Well, let me tell you. See, in Dallas, I was doing a show. Right, a friend of mine had a show on Blog Talk on Friday nights. So when they had the march in Missouri, and that was my first time I heard Black Lives Matter. So I don't know who created. You know something? Somebody else created this shirt I'm wearing, but it's mine. Somebody else created this house I'm in, but I'm living in it. So regardless of what, okay, when the civil rights march, when the civil rights started, it was for civil rights. It didn't have a black designation or a designation of people. The reason it became a designation of people is because somebody came in and say, what if we talk about women's rights? See, women don't know that was deployed to get the black women out of the civil rights movement, so it would still be America is the black man and be civil rights movement, because civil rights was for everybody's rights. Right. So when they pulled the black women out in the women's rights, it left the black man against America the same way. So that was, see, we want to look at certain things and scrutinize that particular item, but if we don't look at the whole thing, because everything around us was for something else. That's right. Declarations still say 3/5, but I'm a whole person sitting here on this conversation talking. So we can say all the things that it was for, but we can change the process of what it's for and the reason it's here just by us saying this is the reason it's here. Yeah. Just like the whole women's rights movement, the black man ain't never been able to tell the black woman what to do. No way. When was this a thing? Oh no, it was never. That was a white thing. It was a white thing. That had nothing to do with us. But we was able to get on the bandwagon. Which leads to my next statement. Same thing with the way the Jewish community got in their power. That bandwagon is for us. Mm-hmm. We want, two black people won't get together and agree on nothing just to make it through the day. We would, no, hell, I did that with you earlier today. I said, no, I don't deal with that person. I'm guilty of the shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Now she said, look at George. I know who George Soros is. I know the things he's been involved in. But you got to understand, look up the Gettys, the Rockefellers, and all the other people that's involved in so many things. Look at Bill Gates that got this foundation over here that's giving money to small black businesses and other businesses. And he out here trying to defund this and trying to kill these people here. So when they got money, it's spread out over everything. You know, they're going to invest in things that's detrimental to them and things that's good for them because that's what makes the money work. So that's what I'm saying. I don't need to see what this person's intent was, because if this person gave me $1 million, his intent was for my destruction, but this $1 million is going to build me a better community. So I'm saying, when they say they moved drugs into the black community because we didn't have no places, let's say if they moved bombs into the black community on the corners, now these houses blowing up because we took these bombs and played with them. See, we know what to do with the things that we're not supposed to do things with. Mm-hmm. But everything don't have to be used the way it's set, the way it was built to be used, because we still have freedom of speech, freedom of choice, and it's our ability to band together, because that's what we're talking about right now. Regardless of who formed this event, if you form it and you funded it, we're gonna use that money for good.
Use it for good. You're damn right. Hell, Kennedy's did it. Didn't they make it big off of bootlegging?
Yeah,
that was their thing. You know, we have to come to a point where we can say, we know what the shit is, but we know what the shit is we got to do.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We got to get to that point. We got to get to that point. Because if not, we can go back and forth. I mean, let's think about let's look at the broad spectrum of the shit. Every dime that you got in your pocket come from a racist mug that don't give a damn about nobody. The people who own the money that we spending, okay, that ain't even real money, number one. Okay, it's a note. Okay, it's a Federal Reserve note. Federal don't have nothing to do with the United States of America.
Yeah. And that's another reason Kennedy was got. Yeah. Kennedy wanted to close the Federal Reserve because he said it's not even a government agency.
He said, oh, hell no, get this federal shit out of here.
Yeah.
Venus in the building. Listen,
what's up, collector of quotes? All right.
They did not know Kennedy was going to be as bad as he was. They think he was going to get up there like he did.
Well, and that's my point, is a lot of times people don't know what their possibilities. They don't know what their power is until they get in power. And they say, oh, I can change this. And see, that was my thing, because I heard all these people talking about Barack Obama. He didn't do this, he didn't do that. And they was talking about Kamala Harris when she was, Attorney General of California. She did this and did that and threw the book at all these people. And I'm like, I think the white guy before her threw the book at people, Yeah. I think when she got in office, she just picked up the book he was throwing, and the book was the same book. So all she could do is throw the book at people. So we can't create black laws if we don't get together and make them change laws to black.
That's it.
Because we have that ability.
Yeah, it starts right where we at right now.
Yeah, we have that ability to change everything. But what we have to do is let's ball up our fists, not to throw a punch, but so we can stop fucking pointing at each other.
Come on, AJ. Yeah.
We can't keep pointing at each other, think we're gonna make some points, or think we're gonna get somewhere with everybody pointing at everybody else. So let's ball up our fists and say, look, I got no fingers right now. I got no fingers in this game. Right now, we're all in the same game. So what are we gonna do with these fists balled up? We're gonna bang down this wall or bang down these laws that we ain't been able to get through and break them down. We're gonna bang on this wall until they let us in. We're gonna change this. So we can change everything, but we gotta change us before we change anything.
Absolutely. That is the only answer.
Yeah, because I got a pocket full of facts that ain't shit. Won't pay my water bill. These facts won't even get my electric bill extension. I got a pocket full of facts.
Yeah.
That I could use for whatever, but it don't even mean nothing until we actually come together and say, look, we don't, let's fact is we're gonna start right here. That's the fact. We're gonna start right here, right now with this. This is the plan.
Yeah.
So let's make that a fact.
Let's find out what the. Let's find out. Let's get together so we can at least make a plan. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's get together and say, let's agree that we're gonna make a plan. Let's start right there. We can throw all the shit in the
Thank you,
fishbowl.
Betty. Appreciate it. Thank you, Betty. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? We got to at least be able to say, okay, you know what? I'm present for change. That's it.
Yeah.
Not for arguing, not for being right, not for trying to prove you wrong.
But John, I'm gonna create an app, right? I'm gonna create an app for cell phones that you can look at, like a face recognition app. Well, what it's gonna do, it's gonna hold your ego until our meeting's over.
Put that son of a bitch in your pocket.
Yeah, put your ego on your cell phone. Let's go to this meeting.
Boy. We'll find some human beings if we do that.
Yeah, we're gonna find that we got a lot in common, because now we can listen.
Oh, you think the same way? We be sitting there thinking we looking in the mirror. Well, damn, I never. What's your name again? Shit.
Let me go ahead and get my phone charger before this phone died. 1 second.
Okay. So yeah, man, if y'all tuning in, man, it's Coach Ja. I'm tuning in with AJ Houston, man. We just trying to start those conversations that start the real conversations. Everything starts with a conversation. I always say it takes just a little bit of change to make some change. If you don't have no money in your pocket and you walk outside and you find 20 cents, you are 20 cents closer to the dollar you was trying to get. We just need a little bit of change to make some change. And that means whatever you can do to make some change, you should do it. You should do it. Every little bit counts. I said this in a group. If we all get together in our community, everybody in each community, I don't care if it's 5 cents a household, 15 cents a household, 20 cents a household. If we start to pull these little change, I'm talking about 20 cent nickels and dimes, pennies here, the loose change in your purse, the loose change in your pocket. You just wash your clothes and you check, you left change in there. That little bit of change. If you go into the store and you can say, okay, well, I spent $77.26. I'm gonna send that 26 cents into this pool so we can get some people that can go to school and learn law and write in the laws that we need. Man, we changed the world overnight, family. We don't have to wait until 20, 40 years so we get a black man and a black woman in office. We don't need that. We need them in office in 2 years. We got an election coming up in 2 years, not to mention the one that's going on right now. Okay? We got to start all the midterm elections, all the local shit. We need to start that now. Where are these conversations? These local people don't come to us because we ain't voting.
Yeah,
they go to people voting because they say,
okay, let's say, okay, starting today, go. If you're not registered to vote, starting today, let's get registered.
Let's get registered.
See what it's going to take for you to register, because right now in Georgia, the last day to register was last week because the election is coming up January 5th. So let's everybody work on getting registered. Let's see what it takes to get registered. Monday, I'm gonna post the information on my Instagram. I'm gonna post it once a week, every week, on how to register to vote. And let's do it for different states. How to register to vote in Las Vegas, how to register to vote in Nevada or Georgia or Alabama or South Carolina. We're gonna post all those different things because maybe you don't know. And maybe we're ashamed of us not voting. Don't you know, at the last election, November 3rd, after I voted, I was outside interviewing people. I interviewed people that came out. I didn't ask them who they voted for. I said, look, so why did you feel the need to vote this time? And I was so impressed that one guy told me, he said, look, man, I'm 42 years old. This is my first time voting. I've never voted before, but I know I need to vote right now because of what's happened in the last 3 years. So if you don't like Joe Biden, if you don't like what's going on right now, let's vote. Let's vote Congress. Let's vote the Senate out. Let's change the Senate. Let's change Congress. So, because people don't understand that this administration put in over 300 judges, permanent judges. Over 280 of them weren't qualified. Were friends with somebody that they knew or somebody's daughter or son. 280 of them weren't qualified. Put in 2 Supreme Court justices, put in 3, but one of them was supposed to be from the last administration. So we're saying what Obama didn't do, but we're not seeing what Obama couldn't do.
What he could not do.
There's a difference on what you didn't do and what you couldn't do. And a lot of times, the things that you know you couldn't do, it's don't even span the things that you didn't do, because a lot of them you didn't do, you couldn't do, and you knew it from jump because of the things you couldn't do. So we don't look at things logically when they tell us it's not, oh, this is what happened. No, that's not what happened. Because we don't, it's like Wild Bill, they talking about, oh, that's the dead man's hand when you're playing poker, dead man's hand, 2 blacks, 2 aces. But don't nobody care what that last card was. I couldn't even find it. I've been good. I couldn't find it. I found 3 different references, but if I find 3 different stories, that means either 2 are lies or all 3 are lies.
Right.
I just left it alone.
Yeah.
But I'm saying a lot of times we're looking for information that we can't find answers to because the answers have always been lies. So when are we going to discover that the truth is in us to be the truth? And Mr. Witz, I don't know who naked up in here, but anyway.
You see him, right?
Yeah. I don't know who naked up in here. But I'm saying, but until we actually understand that we can't do this ego thing. We can't do finger pointing. So let's ball up our fists and have meetings, because we can't continue to point our fingers at people or different things, or the reason this is the way it is, or the reason that door is broken because too many people, keep kicking it.
Keep kicking.
Or the reason that glass is broken because they wouldn't let nobody in, so we came through the window. But I'm saying we don't care. We're here. However you got here, we're here.
You're here. And here's what I want to tell everybody that's on this feed, everybody who see this on the replay, whatever city, state, county you in, find out who your officials are. Send them a message. Hey, listen, hey, you want us to vote? Go on here so we can have some real conversations. Because if they can't have the conversations, they damn sure can't have my vote. If we got to dance around, let's get to the bottom line. Certain shit can't be said. Okay, cool. Well, let's get to the bottom line of this here. And if they can't answer the questions, then what the hell are we voting for them for? If you can't give me an answer to my question, you damn sure don't deserve my vote. Now, if you don't know, that's a different story. I don't know. I get you on that. But let's start the conversation. It's simple. I'm reaching out to some political folks. I had them coming on tonight, but they're working campaigns, so they can't come. They said next Thursday, but I can't, but they're willing to come. And I got some other folks that are willing to come. I want to bring them on, but I don't live in Georgia. I don't live in Texas. I don't live in New York City no more. I don't live in Virginia. Find out who your locals are. The locals are the one that's going to come in. You're not getting the presidents on here. They don't want to talk to us. They ain't got time.
Now, John, but check it out. I just want everybody that's listening to go and see who their senators are and who your congressmen are.
Yeah.
Just go and see who they are and look up something on them. I'm saying, so you don't have to pass this information to us, but I think it'd be valuable to you to know who you voted for or didn't vote for, know who you need to vote for or who you need to vote out. So let's look up that now. That's the starting point. Let's see who's in office in our states. See who's in office, and then we'll sit down and we come together and say, oh, we need to change this. But we got 2 years. We got 2 years to change some of those positions. So let's look it up now and say, okay, we're going to look these people up. These are my senators. These are my congressmen. That's the ones for national. That's one federal. These are our local ones. Mm-hmm. So let's see what we can do to change local. See when your range of registering to vote is in your state.
Right.
Let's start posting all this information. Okay, you're not registered to vote in Kentucky. This is when Kentucky can register. This is how long you got.
Yeah.
This is what it takes. This is what you have to do. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to start from scratch.
No.
We can start here.
Yeah. And you can watch it. You can send your ballot. You can be filling out your ballot while you're watching your game, your football game, and drinking your beer. You ain't got to leave your house.
Okay, and you go, who's the senator? Who's the senator? Look up the name, write it down, and say, okay, tell me about this person. Yeah. Ask Siri. Siri will tell you who they are. Siri ain't scared of nobody. Siri will tell you who they are.
What is right sitting on your toilet bowl, right on your bowls. Who the senator, Siri? Yeah.
No, that poem, man. That poem. Come on now.
Okay, let me do the poem because Mike's AJ said he want that poem. Let me give him that poem. I wrote a poem last night that sounded like yesterday. It played like the Negro spirituals and those sorrow songs our ancestors used to sing when, singing was forbidden. During a time when hope only lived inside of a dream that felt far less American than pitchforks and cowboys. But somehow it's still embedded itself deep within her soil, still buried in the heart of her history like dirt roads and chewing tobacco. See, I wrote a poem last night that begged for an apology letter. A poem that screamed for freedom and reparations because it's what's needed, not because it was something we should have to ask for. I wrote a poem that wept much like Jesus did, like Moses when he begged to let my people go, but it fell upon deaf ears. And they made a mockery of a sacrifice that turned human beings into niggers. So inhumane, many still suffer from these travesties today. Hundreds of years later, hundreds of hours later, even after dead presidents sold drugs in black neighborhoods, then imprisoned the black people for selling them and using them like that wasn't part of the plan in the first place. You see, this poem reminds us of those scars, the ones on the back of our ancestors, the slaves that fought to be called human, making our ancestors slaves instead of people. See, I wrote a poem last night, and it felt like wading in the water, like boots marching to a theme that forced a quarterback to bend his knee and raise his fist, like two black athletes standing at a podium, medallions hanging from their breasts, beating and pounding against white privilege and American smiles. And they watch Negro athletes instead of watching black men winning the Olympics. See, those black gloves raised in solidarity made the entire sports world bear witness to black excellence. You see, this poem felt like a heartbeat screaming for an acceptance when colored folks were dying just to feel like human beings, still dying just to feel human. I wrote a poem that caught the tears of barren wombs that suffer from cancer causing relaxers. It felt like she said no, but nobody listened. I mean, she said no, but still no one listened. It felt like bleeding pens and tongue-tied congressmen that party while Capitol Hill signed mass obituaries. You see, it felt like a prosthetic smile. It felt like politics, like Samuel L. Jackson without his favorite dance and without using the word motherfucker. It felt like hollow points killing teenage dreams after a police stop, dead and wavering to the whistling winds, like little black boys whistling till death do us part, to a pistol carrying policeman armed with a get out of jail free card. You see, it said justice and hush money was kissing cousins. It sounds like we would keep slaves and we can agree, but this poem, I wrote this poem that reminded us that black men can't breathe in public places, reminds us that the words boy and girl have no age restriction when it's attached to black skin. You see, I wrote a poem last night. I wrote a poem that says, today we gather for one reason, to celebrate for love and harmony that can't taste right, that doesn't even have taste yet. You see, I wrote a poem to remind us so that we will remember what makes us sure that we never forget things like black on black crime is the same as any other color put before crime. You see, that Black Lives Matter shouldn't have a damn question after it. You see, I wrote a poem that called it an angry man poem. They said it was for angry men only, said it had to find its own footprints. I wrote a poem that said thank you, and it ended with the perfect amen. And somehow, after I wrote this poem, they still call it out of order. But I wrote a poem last night, and it reminded me of yesterday.
That shit is fire. That shit is fire. I told you, man, it felt like wading in the water. I'm telling you. Now my girl say, sound like she preaching. I'm like, it is.
It is.
The poem is a sermon. Now I'm saying, good, like the poem is a sermon. The poem is a sermon on the mount.
Yeah.
It's
a reminder of why we write, right? What you.
Oh yeah.
You got to share one now, AJ. You might as well go and pull one out now.
Well, I'm gonna do the one I'm working on today. It ain't even finished.
Okay.
It's called Sunshine and Pain. It's before computers, before inception of the internet, before stamps, before Western Union, before Malbell, before horseless carriages, we misidentified the connection between plantation and president. Congress and overseer before we knew anything of Paul and bearers. Long before we met the twins Sim and Terry. Our eternal question has been, how come justice, every time she is birthed, reformed from pain or rebirth, must be blind? Blindfold or not, cannot see beyond the paleness of her skin, beyond the declaration of our captivity, or rather our independence. You see, they wrote about us, or is that unwrote about us in American scriptures? America got pages of which we are not included, not referenced, not free, no liberty, maybe death. History is a landmine filled with broken promises. A stuttered voicemail repeated in thunder from clouds, an attempt to clear a ruptured past, hoping to ensure the possibility, the slimmest of slim chances. If we listen close enough, we'll find a way, a trail of breadcrumbs, lost footsteps in the sand, a guide leading us to a step toward two or more forward, although backwards is the preferred direction. There are fields of scattered nightmares and dreams tossed about on unfertile soil on purpose. The only thing we're able to grow with any consistency are headstones. We plant enough of them around this great country. Every week, we plant seeds more than 6 feet deep. Imagine, time delivered us a box of problems, a 13th commandment, at least 12 dozen cases of regret, stamp returned to sender. No one knows its origin or where they came from. They keep asking me to write a poem, a good poem of happy. Find some jovial, locate that two-step, a glorious pair of them Shirley Temple and Bill Bojangles shoes, dances we have yet to recover from. We keep asking, keep asking me to write a poem, fill it with smiles from a darkened history that has remained black long after the sun came out. We've experienced at least 110,000 appearances of sun and still can't see a clear day. Day without a storm in one of our communities, without a dark cloud over the house of some innocent person no longer with us, but they can't fathom how we keep moving, how we keep picking up bodies and tombstones and memories and carrying them with us. Time has left scars we're afraid to look at, cannot remember where they came from. I pray these days my father be proud of the pen I hold. He told me to tell the truth and shame the devil, taught me cemeteries are filled with unfulfilled dreams floating above the flowers, waiting for dream catchers. But that's all that's on there so far.
I almost cried on that damn poem.
Damn.
Yes, I'm gonna use this as a prompt. You said the cemetery is full of unfulfilled dreams.
Yeah, floating, waiting for. My dad told me that one day, man. We was at a family reunion, probably about 13, 14, me and my cousins. We stole some beers out of the house. got a joint from my brother. We went to the back of the cemetery. We back there passing the joint around, drinking the beer, laughing like we grown and shit. This car pulled up. My dad and 3 of his brothers, my uncles, got out. And when I looked up, my dad was walking straight toward me. So I just set the little can of beer down, past the joint. He could, he had to see it. But my dad was never short of words. He didn't mix words with nobody. He didn't care who was around. He just put his arms around me and we walked to the cemetery. He told me, say, look, man, a lot of these people I knew.
Wow.
He said, now they just laying underground with rocks on their chest. Couldn't get up if they wanted to. He said, now read some of the names. He said, they had dreams too. There's a whole lot of shit they was gonna do. They had dreams, but now they got rocks on their chest. Can't do nothing. Can't even get up if they wanted to. So I'm sitting there looking. He said, and just imagine if there was some dreams laying around here and you could pick a couple of them up. But I'm quite sure you got your own. And we sitting there talking, and I'm just looking around like just reading names. I look around, he gone, the car gone. So I don't know how long I was standing there looking, reading names. But it was amazing to me to just to think that right above the flowers, hovering above the ground, were dreams that people couldn't fulfill themselves. So can we pick up dreams from those that's gone and make them live like they wanted to live? Or do we have enough dreams on our own? Can we carry other dreams on our backs that ain't ours?
That ain't ours. I'm going to write the poem, How Many Dreams Line the Cemetery.
Ooh.
I just wrote that down from that. I'm going to write that poem.
No, but that piece, man, I'm working on. That's the words I had to have my girl coming in write down for me when it started. Cause I was like, man, I'm like, this ain't, I don't know what it is.
Sam and Terry and the different, I lost it because man, God Almighty, just the bounce and how you made them. Okay, these is twins now. You know what I'm saying? Man. Bro, I'm writing that poem. I might not sleep tonight, y'all. Blame it on AJ. Blame the shit on AJ. I got Miss Parker on the show in the morning.
No, I'll be there. No, but I'm gonna tell you, man. I just feel it, man. Like I wrote a poem today, and that just sticks with me. It stuck with me since yesterday. Like y'all don't understand. It's like y'all hold up. Let me tell you something. I wrote a poem today that wept like Jesus, like Moses at the bush when he didn't want to go forward. I wrote a poem today that felt like wading in the water. I'm like, it's like that's some shit need to be said at the Washington Monument, you know. A lot of people don't know what that is, you know. They don't know. I'm just saying, just in case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Man.
Banneker made Washington like Kemet.
You know, when you look at the design of that whole area that people had never looked at. Look at the architectural work. Look at how they structured how that whole area looked. And then look at, though I like to tell people, that needle in Washington, 555 feet tall, 555 and a quarter foot or 3/4 foot. Then make it to the next foot, 555. Yeah. If you take the needle and put it, you get 1555. That's when they started bringing your black asses over here. You might not have known it, but you learned it today. 500.
No, but it mimics the dick. Like fuck the word.
Yeah.
But I'm saying people glorifying Washington and don't know black man is laughing. Doesn't say y'all don't know where y'all living at and what y'all living in.
Yeah.
I designed this so you wouldn't know. So a lot of times we running around here thinking that we know the truth of, and that's why I keep telling people, I keep writing history because nobody's told us the whole story and we still don't know the whole story of these stories. You know, because Trail of Tears, I was reading everything about Trail of Tears. Mm-hmm. You know, there was 46,000 indigenous Americans in this area. 16,000 of them lived in the area where they found gold. They sent the army to march them out, not to move them, not to say, hey, we want to borrow this land, right? To march them out. And they marched them 4,000 miles away. So how you gonna find your way back when they took you 4,000 miles from home? They lost 400 people in the journey from famine and from war and from other things. So it's called a Trail of Tears because you were losing bodies along every mile that you treaded, that you drugged them through. And it's such a horrible thing to imagine that America don't take blame, don't take credit for none of the horrible shit she did or she's done. And here we are looking at all these things and not understanding that America has been horrible to a whole lot of people. And we're thinking that she gonna act right now.
Good luck.
And you wonder, see, you wonder why we say, okay, this person, you know, this person funded this organization, but look at, did the organization do some good? Right. This you know, because people used to say, oh, like in the gangster movie, they say, I'm not that's bad money, that's drug money. I'm not taking that money. Yeah. But then you can build a neighborhood, a community with this money. You can feed a family. You can feed this whole area with this money. So we got to understand that America ain't got no good money. Most of it still got blood on it.
Exactly.
That's why they keep redesigning dollars, trying to put some other emblems in there, because there's too much blood on the old money they got.
When people just take a moment to think about that, just think about it.
You know, because have anybody ever tried to Google and see how much money was made on all the plantations in the South while Lincoln wanted to free the slaves in the South because the South was making better, but was in better shape than the North? Is in better shape than the North because they didn't spend no money on work.
Not a damn dime.
They didn't spend any money. The South is doing so much better than the North that Lincoln say, look, I'm gonna free the slaves. Not my slaves, just your slaves. Because Lincoln enjoyed the first 10 presidents of this country, 10 of the first 12 presidents owned slaves. So I'm not talking about a 4-year span or 8-year span. I'm saying the first 10 presidents. So if each one of them served one term, that means for 40 years after that, 40 years, these presidents owned slaves, at least. So you want to tell me that Lincoln was this great guy that freed the slaves, but he only freed the slaves that was a little down lower so he could disrupt the economy. So we be talking about great people because they told us they're great people, but we've never studied those people to see how great they were.
Yeah. AJ, I'll tell you what. I don't know what it's going to take for us to at least do a little bit of research. Just a little bit of research.
Learn a little bit of what we talk about, huh?
If it was a snake, it wouldn't have just bit you in the ass. It would have swallowed you whole. Shit. I mean, it's all right then. We walk around with computers all day, and all we do is go on Pornhub and search videos and WAP and shit.
You know, man, when I read about, I was reading about Tuskegee, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people have been talking about that since COVID and the vaccine came up. So I started searching my mental database. I said, okay, so what do I know of Tuskegee? I'm like, okay, I know it was this. I know where it was. I know that they lied to these men. I know, but I'm like, how many people were involved in the experiment? Okay, right. When the experiment happened, how long did it go on? So a lot of times to know something, these are the pertinent questions you got to ask yourself to see if you know what it is you're talking about. So when I discovered that they signed up for 6 months, 6-month experiment that lasted 40 years. And I don't know if anybody can tell me that if I get a job for 6 months and I worked that job for 40 years, I got to figure out, did I get a raise? You know, did I get a raise after 6 months? So they wanted me to stay of what happened. You know, but it was 600 men in that experiment, but they injected 399 of them. That number, I have no earthly idea why. But the family is still covered under the medical insurance that they set up for those families still today.
Wow.
There was a lawsuit. Clinton was the one that apologized. So I'm saying there are some things we don't know about the things we say we know.
A whole lot of things, brother. A whole lot of things. Half the people don't know what gerrymandering is. Let me put research gerrymandering when y'all get a chance.
Yeah. And it's not a friend of Jerry Maguire's. I'm just saying. It's not a friend of Jerry Maguire, so it ain't, show me the money guy.
All we know is that our ancestors was made into slaves. Half of us say our ancestors was just slaves. And you don't just be born a slave. That don't work. They got to make you a slave.
Yeah.
And so
and not just gerrymandering. Look at the lawsuits that happened in the last 5 years against all the states, even Georgia and Alabama and Texas. They lost lawsuits on gerrymandering. So they were supposed to get an independent agency to come and redraw these districts. Mm-hmm. But they kept filing suits to hold it off until after this election right here. because they say we just need 6 more years, because senators, you gotta understand, the president is 4 years, senators are 6. So, but it's staggered in between the senators and the House. There's 6-year terms. So every 2 years, somebody is being have to run for office. So that's why we're saying in 2 years we need some people ready to run for these seats. That these be going. Because if you're a senator and you've been a senator for 87 years, that's what have you done? I mean, you was a senator when they was talking about slaves.
Wait, what you said? What have you done?
Exactly. Yeah. When they was talking about slaves, he was a senator. So, and I don't understand how people say a 60-year-old white man or a 70-year-old white man don't know about prejudice when that's all that they knew before now. Because, you know, I say, okay, if you're 30 years old, you probably went to school with some other people, some other nationalities. So there was some other thing. Or maybe 40. But 50, you had some prejudiced grandparents, some prejudiced people around you, some prejudiced people in your community that moved out when the first black family moved in. So you had all these things. So we have to understand that people can change, but they need to let you know why and when they changed.
Yeah. Let's okay, because we get a lot of church folks, right? Let's talk church talk. Do you know why there was a First Baptist and the AME Zion and the Second Baptist? Do you know that was prejudice that was racism that ran your ass out to get these other churches? See, we got to let's because I want them to talk. I want to talk the language they understand, because that's the kind of stuff they understand, right? Find out what started AME Zion. Find out what started the First and Second Baptist churches. Find out why pastors had to go outside of what they were already taught, that Jesus left them. And see, because I want you to understand that it's not a one thing. It's not a one level thing. It's in everything you do, from your drinking water to the soda you buy from the store. In fact, in your black neighborhoods, y'all get the shit they move from the white neighborhoods down, dropped off to y'all. Y'all didn't even know that.
Yeah, the milk in your black neighborhood. Now, the milk in your black neighborhood's got 2 days on it before it expires.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, but okay, about churches, okay, look at the last part of your church. Is it a Baptist church? Is it a non-denominational church? Is it the Church of God in Christ? So Google the origin of that particular body of church and see where it came from. See why there's another book that the Church of God in Christ have to say what it is they believe in from the book they say they believe in. So see if there's another book that goes with the book that you say you believe in. So see all these things, and let's find the origin of some things, to see who Constantine was, to see who all these other people were that start teaching different doctrines, and see why the different doctrines mattered, and where they came from, and why the origin. Because if they moved to the United States for religious freedom, how can you have religious freedom when you're killing everybody that lived here before when you arrived?
When you bring in your religious freedom.
Yeah, what kind of religion is that?
but and then here you go. Trace it back to where'd you get it from?
Yeah. What kind of religion is that would allow you to kill the people so you can say you can claim this land? See, because I got a line in the poem that says it was right before the people that lived here knew that a flag was a designation of winning a war or a designation of ownership, because they didn't know what that little thing sticking in the ground was. They didn't know they had lost. They didn't know this land is like the text. This land is my land. This land is your land, from California to the redwood forest, whatever it say. I'm like, that's a lie.
Well, hell, we knew that from a long time you saying this shit. We never stopped and said, oh, wait a minute. This is mine.
Yeah, I'm saying because we got to understand that there's so many wrongs that occurred that we don't care to revisit or look at. We don't want to see the origin of our communities, and why this place that I almost moved to in Fort Worth is called White Settlement. I was driving to the house, and beautiful house, about $50,000 less than the one in Dallas, the same size, same, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, that kind of house. So we driving down the street, around the corner, and I see this sign right here say White Settlement. I stopped at the sign And this man said, why you stopped? I say, I can't go past that sign because I can't live nowhere that has this name. They could sell me the house for $15. I can't live in this place called White Settlement as though I don't know. It don't bother me every time I come outside my house. I'm saying, when I was in Mississippi, every time I came outside, I just think that down the street around the corner was a guy that flew a Confederate flag on his porch to sit in his rocking chair every day. It bothered me.
Yeah.
Going downtown, there were Confederate flags on the post office and other buildings. It bothered me, but I had to go there. So I started asking people, I say, how can you find comfort in the years you've been toiling, walking around here with these problems swinging over your head?
Yeah. Yeah.
I say, every time the flag blow in the wind, I remember somebody's swinging in the wind on a rope. And I can't bear the thought of this flag being over my head, because I was up there marching, trying to help them get rid of the flag the whole time I was there too. But I'm like, it's just, I don't know how we've become so comfortable in these shoes we wear that's gifted us. You know, when back in the day, you know, if you had the shoe with the little brace on it, with the big heel on it, and it's like, imagine that we don't have the shoes, but we got black skin. Our skin got this shoe with a brace on it that we walking around like we are handicapped in the thoughts that we've been fed. So we are handicapping ourselves by not walking on our own feet, by keep wearing the shoes they gave us to wear, like we can't walk on our feet, we can't step on this dirt. No. Let's find out why we're here.
Yeah.
Find out what we can do to make us better, what we can do together to make us better. There's something we got to do.
Yeah.
There's some things we got to do together. So go and find out who your senator, who your Congress people are in your state right now, who your attorney general is, because 17 of them say that the colors in his places doing fine, mighty fine, mighty fine. Our colors are good.
AJ, man,
they signed on that lawsuit in Texas. 17 attorney generals say our colors are good.
Just our colors.
Yeah, our colors are good. They don't even want to upgrade y'all to Afro or black or Negro.
Or whatever.
Our colors, yeah.
They didn't even call you niggas no more. They color.
Yeah, our colors are good because 17 attorney generals said that they want to take 20 million votes from minorities in 4 different states that are not theirs because they want to overturn an election as acting like your vote does not count. If that doesn't bother you, that somebody said across the water that your vote don't count over yonder, because we got our colors intact.
Under control. Don't be over here stirring up the good nigga.
Really. Don't get on out of here. Get on out of here with them messages like that. Don't. Yes.
My baby sister, when she got married, her and her husband, who's in the military, decided they're gonna buy a house. And I seen this floor plan. He's like, listen, you got this house to get built from the ground up. You got to come see. We got to go down there. We got to go see. Bessemer City, North Carolina. We got to go see. I'm telling you, this house is nice. I can't wait. They drove down to see where the house was at. And she said, when they turned down, this Confederate flag here. And then she said, I told that builder, you can keep that goddamn money. It ain't no way I'm going to feel comfortable living there.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I'm not going to live there. I'm going to tell you a funny story. I live next door to my next door neighbor, short military guy. He come over all the time. He said, man, yeah, look, I'm a redneck. I'm a redneck, man. I'm going to tell you, I do redneck shit all the time. One of the best human beings I've met in my entire life. Funny thing is, when I first moved here, we went knocking on the door. He ignored the shit out of us. He ain't come to the damn door. And I said, well, damn, because somebody had ran over the garbage can. And we know it was the mail lady. There's a whole big fiasco about that. But he ain't come to the damn door. And one day he came over and we talked. Anytime I need anything, he already know. He already over here knocking on the door. Hey, man, you need my pressure washer? You need that? Good people. What I try to tell us to understand is there were good whites that helped us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
But our mindset got to move away from what they did and focus on what the fuck we need to do. Because we just stuck in the idea of what, you know what I'm saying, where that help is coming from. And we even start what they can help us with right here.
But and see, that's the thing. That's why I think people say how we make change, how we're gonna change anything. First, see who your state senators and Congress people are. See when their term is up. What's up, Sin? See when their term is up, because some of them's up in 2022. Some of them's up in 2024. So when their term is up, see who else ran for that position. But we don't even worry about the position. Just see who's in office right now, senators and Congress people. And then next week when we come back Thursday, we're gonna say, I looked that information up. What I'm gonna do with it. See, we got to start somewhere. So every beginning has to start somewhere. So let's make ourselves aware of who runs our state. Whatever state you're in, who runs our state, and we're gonna start there.
We're gonna start there. That's the starting point. I'm all for that because we got to start somewhere. We got to start somewhere. Oh, it's almost 10 o'clock, AJ. We're gonna shut this down.
Okay.
We'll go on all night. We'll go on all night.
No, we're good because my girl want to go somewhere. What's up, Sam, man? Good you coming in, Betty. Quakers. She's talking about the Quakers. No, but man, I appreciate everybody coming in. Thank you for coming. Today is Thursday. It's 10 times now with Coach Ja and myself. I appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate y'all hanging. Man, follow Coach Ja Smalls on Instagram, on YouTube, the same. Follow him, subscribe to his channel. Yeah, I got a YouTube channel. I'm about to get y'all to subscribe because I ain't got enough followers. I hadn't even been pushing it, but we're gonna work on that later. Follow Coach Ja Smalls on YouTube, on Instagram at Coach Ja Smalls, and Facebook is what? Coach Ja Smalls too?
Yeah.
Facebook, Coach Ja Smalls too.
Follow Google, and you don't find me, something wrong with your Google, throw it away.
but man, I appreciate y'all coming through. But we're gonna have an assignment after every show. The assignment this week is to go look up who the senators and the Congress people are and who your attorney general is in your state.
Yeah.
We're gonna convene here next week and we're gonna sit down and see what we're gonna do with this particular bit of information. But yeah, that's where we start. Senators, Congress, attorney general, and see when their term is up. Is it 2022? Do we have 2 years to prepare to get them out of here?
Senators, governors, and who else you want?
No, senators, Congress, and attorney general.
Okay, Congress.
A House. Senators, House rep, House representatives.
Mm-hmm. Always push the subscribe link each night and track the daily count numbers, AJ and Coach. Okay, Venus.
Betty asked me, she said, can you please read in the beginning out of the Black Book of Black?
Read it. Let's get that. We can end on that note. I'm with that. I'm with you, Betty. I'm all for that.
Let me find it. The book is in. Oh, there it is over there. Let me get it.
I'm gonna read along.
Oh, okay, Betty, for you, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let me see. And this is the Black Book of Black. Black Book of Black. Black page is about us from Africa to now. First poem in the book is in the beginning. Let me see it. It says, I think it goes back to the beginning. Before words split darkness to form night and day, we were there and are still here, trying to find our way to the light. I would try and go back to the beginning, or at least as far as my mind will enable me to remember. I don't recall thinking about being able to walk or talk, never paid attention to air or breathing. No one told me I had to. We have a long list of givens, things we think should be with or without our participation. We know living requires work. A job to sustain our families, cars need gas, refrigerators, food. We all need clothes to cover our bodies in the heat and cold, cleaning tools and supplies. Water has to be added to remove dust and dirt from our bodies, hair, and clothing. Who will believe after this much work? In boycotts, marches, underground railroads, riots, hangings, beatings, stolen inventions, raids, killings, cover-ups, amendments, acts, addendum, marches, arrests, framings, unjust prison sentences. Who will believe our mouths be full of the same stories more than 7 generations later? In the beginning, fathers didn't hold their sons close. They were forcibly taken to keep them separate. So many years later, fathers don't hold their sons close. Is this history playing a game of tag, asking to be remembered if we travel back there to the time faulty records were kept? When the list of property or ship's manifest, captain's log, only read boy, girl, woman, man, approximate age, maybe the area they were taken or confiscated from. We can never find our roots if we depend on that set of records unless we swab our cheeks, offer a blood donation to determine the origins of our bones. I find it repetitively sad. Every other people or culture in America know where they came from. know where they arrived here. They may have worked off of debt, but were not brought or bought as a source of free labor to build a country newly discovered. Let's say you have a college degree, majored in accounting or mathematics. I would ask you to compute with interest. $2 per day times 13 millions times 3.5 centuries, only compound the interest annually. I'm not saying we're owed every penny from the very beginning, but someone owes us every dime from the very beginning. Every other nationality residing in this country received payment with interest for being treated unjustly. Even the indigenous people who were given blankets to keep warm during winter wouldn't survive the smallpox hidden in the fabric until summer. Later received some type of compensation. I hadn't planned on dragging this old to this new. Imagine your job owes you back pay for months and they're calling, demanding you to work overtime. How would you handle that? I'm up for suggestions. If the beginning was spoken into existence, why can't we write a new one for our seeds? Hashtags and t-shirts don't seem to be able to stop the bullets, beatings, or society's mistreatments. We got words but no action. At least in the beginning, they had hard work with no pay. We got good pay but no work. Not saying your job isn't work. Neglected community support equals no work at all. History has a way of finding us where we sleep, tagging remembrance every time we choose to forget. We are very forgetful. A lot of us act like we belong here, like we came here of our own choosing. There can be no future without knowledge of our history, of where we came from, and we don't know where we came from. We may all need a shovel to locate a shallow, direct connection. There are new flourishing communities built on Black cemeteries, headstones removed, shallow graves underneath oaks. There are places you didn't think you could find yourself. I would guarantee the ancestors never thought they would find themselves in this lighted darkness, wearing a new language. Here we sit centuries later, still trying to find the beginning, needing to dig up old tongues to rediscover the origin of our bones. There's no real future without discovering our beginning. No journey completed without a starting point. I think it goes back to the beginning. Before words split darkness to form night and day, we were there and are still here, trying to find our way to the light.
I just started writing the poem while you tweeting.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. What up, Gemini? No, I'm sitting with Coach Ja. We're doing 10 times now. Definitely come back next week. Don't forget our homework. Our homework is to look up the senators and House representatives representing your state. See when their term is up. Is it 2022 or 24? When is it? I look up the Attorney General of your state, and we're gonna come back next week. We're gonna compile this information and see what we can do with it. But we gotta. Everybody say we got to start somewhere, but every beginning has to start somewhere. So this is our beginning. Let's start working on all the things we need to work on, and we got a whole lot to work
on. Boy, I don't even know. Whew, AJ, wait till you hear this motherfucking phone when I get this one. Wait till you hear this damn phone when this shit is done. Wait till you hear where I'm going with this when this shit is done.
Shoot, I'm working on that new one I'm working on and dressing for church.
Yeah.
Divine Charles, what up? I'm trying to finish my dressing for church because, man, your dressing for church is so fire. But that one, I wrote a poem last night. That is fire, man. That I'm saying that's almost like where you usher all the people in and you got like 1,000 people in the lake getting ready to be baptized, but you standing on the shore on the rock, and that's the sermon that's being preached. I wrote a poem last night. Listen, sounded like wading in the water.
I'm thinking about Nat Turner all the way already, so you're right there on it. Man.
Betty says she would have completed her assignment for next Thursday. Appreciate that. But everybody, I'm saying, look up this information because we need to know who's running, not just the main government. We know who's the president, vice president, but who's in your state? Who's running your state? What are they doing? When are their positions up? Do we have anybody ready or willing to run for those positions when the term is up? And that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to show how we can affect change from here, everywhere.
Yeah. Man, I'm not gonna get no sleep tonight thanks to AJ and that dang poem and these two prompts. So
I didn't get no sleep last night. I tell you, I kept saying I wrote a poem. I wrote a poem last night.
The next poem is I'm sorry I brought you here.
Ooh.
Yeah, no. Wait, I'm gonna have this shit ready for you tomorrow. I'm reading this shit, open it up tomorrow morning. Listen, I'm going in. Listen, I'm gonna try to not stay up all night so I can get up in time. But tomorrow is Friday.
Better say Coach Job and then he smiles. But I'm gonna tell you. So that's I'm gonna finish that poem and something else. It ain't gonna say I wrote a poem, but you gonna know I wrote a poem. I'm just saying. Hey man, I love you, man. Thank you everybody for coming in. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Gemini. Thank you, Sam, for coming through. Thank you everybody that's been on live, man. I'm so honored, man, just to hang out with Coach Jaw on a Thursday night, Thursday evening, and appreciate everybody coming through. Don't forget your homework. We're gonna definitely do something about this.
Oh, we gonna work. The work started already. And AJ, man, so much respect for you, brother. You know I love you to the moon and back again. And I appreciate so much, man. It's always an honor to be here with you. You know, they say when two or more are together, we already know what it is. And believe it or not, there's so much energy that comes through here. And all of you that are watching, thank y'all for tuning in. But remember, the work don't stop once the feed goes off. It just begins. The moment the feed goes off, it begins because now your mind is working. And that energy is all you need. Use that energy. I don't care if you write a poem, then write the damn poem. Write a short story. Do something with what you've got and what you gained from here, because you weren't here by accident. You could have been here. You could have been drunk, slump over. You could have been a heroin addict, but you are not. So I really appreciate y'all hanging out. IG, I appreciate y'all hanging out with us too, man. Yeah. And I'm going to post it. It's going to be on YouTube. I'm posting on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it later, rewind it, check it all out. You repost it right away as soon as we get done. So, yeah, man, we're going to see y'all next week. I'll see y'all in the morning if y'all coming in the morning. But
I got to come just to hear this poem. But anyway, I'll be there in the morning. Hey, thank everybody for coming through. Follow Coach Josh Smalls. My name is AJ Houston on most things, but I'm AJ Word Artist on Instagram. Follow me. If you want to book anything, DM me and we'll work that out. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Coach Josh got some books, 101 Love Notes from Dad. So follow him, man. Let's support each other. Let's build this community.
If you can't reach AJ, hit me up. I'll put you in direct contact with him. Ain't no problem. I ain't giving you his home number, but I'll put you on IG and give you an email.
Appreciate it, man. Love you, man.
I love you back, bro. I'll talk to you later on or tomorrow morning, whichever happens first.
Okay, for sure.
All right, family. Peace, love, brother.